All right, this update is brought to you by Indeed.com. Padres beat the Orioles last night to win the series from them. They move on to a crucial 4-game series tonight versus the Arizona Diamondbacks. 6:40 first pitch. D-backs putting Zach Gallen on the mound versus Rich Hill for the Padres. Dog days of summer. Got your business needing help? Check out Indeed, an all-in-one hiring solution that makes it easy to attract, interview, and hire candidates. Visit Indeed.com/credit and get $75 towards your first sponsored job. Terms and conditions apply.
All right, San Diego and Southern California, what's going on? Hour one, John and Jim, another day where we've got a ton of giveaways and good guests for you, including San Diego State's quarterback, Jalen Mayden, a week out, 9 days out, will join us in the 5 p.m. hour. We'll get you ready for the opener against Ohio. We'll also talk San Diego State football with Paul Garrison from the East Village Times at 4 p.m. But, of course, Jim, we start with all of a sudden the surging Padres. Now, surging, maybe that's not the right word. But we collectively spent 3 hours yesterday saying if the bold, capitalized, italicized, underlined if, right? If the Marlins lose, and they did, by the way, if the Padres win the series against the Orioles behind Blake Snell, and they did, by the way, then all of a sudden, like the math was going to look different and everything was going to look a little different. Yeah, they're 5 games under 500. Don't let that get in the way. Yeah, they got a lot of teams to pass. Don't let that get in the way.
Don't let that get in the way at all.
Don't let the truth get in the way of the story, which is they're 4.5 games out. I think we said last night, was it last night on the wrap-up show, or was it here on John and Jim? We're like, sometimes you just got to, just believe. Just like have a little bit of faith. If you get hurt, you get hurt, right? But better to get hurt than not feel it all, so to speak, a little Shakespearean.
Feel something. I want to feel something.
I'm telling you this right now, and there's a lot to get into on the Padres here today, Jim. I'm telling you this right now. I may even believe, and I think Padres fans will believe, if, again, capitalize font 88, if they beat Zach Gallen tonight. If they beat Zach Gallen tonight, make it 3 in a row, I think there's going to be a lot of San Diegans and a lot of Padres fans that are going to throw caution to the wind. Yeah, they're under 500. Yeah, they're out of a playoff spot. But we're playing we're playing well enough, and we can do this in the final 40 games of the season. You see that or not?
It's a big if. And I still have to see it first. I just 2 wins in a row. Okay, they've done it before. I mean, they swept the Texas Rangers right before the trade deadline. And the Rangers are in first place in their division. And it was like, here we go.
Right.
And then they lost that heartbreaking game on Monday night in Colorado. Yes, they ended up winning that series, but then after that, they lose 5-6. And then they go 6.5 out. If they end up winning these next 2 games, they win 4 in a row, then I'll be like, my eyebrows will definitely be raised.
Even at under 500 overall.
Even at a 500, under 500 and all. That gif where like the Undertaker's in the coffin and he's like dead, but then he like raises his eyes and he's like looking around a little bit.
Yes.
That will be me. That will be me if they can go and take 3 of 4 from the D-backs this weekend. It's fine. I would love if they won the next 3 games in a row to win 5 straight.
Sure.
But I'll take 3 of 4. If you lose tonight and you win the next 3, still taking 3 of 4 is good.
Mm-hmm.
I saw our buddy Will Holder on Twitter say that there's a path to 8-2 on the 10-game homestand without ever winning more than 3 games in a row, and that's possible. And we said that.
Hold on.
Yeah,
they're 2-1.
Mm-hmm.
they can get to 3-1. That's a 3-game winning streak. Then they're 3-2.
Right.
Then they win 3 more. They're 6-2.
Mm-hmm.
Then they lose when they're 6-3, and then they win when they're 7-3.
No. So
yeah, walk me through this math.
All right. They lost on Monday.
Yeah.
Okay. You won 2 here.
Yeah.
You can win tonight.
Yeah, that's 3-1 homestand.
All right.
Yeah.
Oh, wait. No,
Wait, what did he say?
No. Hold on.
Did he say 8-2?
No, he said 8-2.
You and the
bro.
math, man.
He
Will,
said 8-2.
Will, that's not right.
Hold on. I swear I saw this.
Will,
I
call
swear
in.
I saw it. Hold on.
No, that math doesn't work. Not without a 4-game winning streak. This is the problem with working with Jim.
Math is hard.
It really is. The simple things.
Come on, Will, buddy. Don't let me down. Where is it? He tweets about all these stuff all the time. It's probably like buried in this.
Dude,
keep talking. I'll find it.
Here's the thing. It doesn't matter what the tweet says. If he says they can go 8-2 without a 4-game winning streak, I'm telling you it's impossible.
Okay,
it's not possible. The math doesn't support.
Maybe he deleted it.
Maybe he said 7-3.
Okay,
if we get rained out on Sunday,
right,
the game doesn't happen.
There you go.
Right.
There you go. That's exactly right. But here's the other point. Forget about that tweet for a second.
I may be an idiot.
You're an idiot.
Yeah.
Forget about that for 1 second.
I'm an idiot.
Think about this. And you sent me a tweet from earlier that was spot on. Here's why now is particularly important. It's this weekend's worth of games, Padres and Diamondbacks. Then, for example, Miami's in LA starting tomorrow. LA's 14-1 this month. You've got San Francisco and Atlanta this weekend. Atlanta's been the best team in the National League all year. You have Milwaukee at Texas. Texas has been one of the stories of baseball this year. So everything sets up beautifully if you can win a series. Dare I say a split? You want to do better than that. But if you win 3 of 4 and you get the right results with Dodgers beating the Marlins, Atlanta beating the Giants, the Rangers beating the Brewers, all of a sudden you can make some headway a little bit here. So it's interesting. I know we've gone down this path before. I know we're asking for the same result, right? We've been fooled before. Won't we be fooled again? But I don't know. Maybe this time is different. Is that stupid to say?
Okay, I found the tweet.
Okay.
Now, it could have been 8-2, but they would have needed to win and sweep the Orioles. You win the first 3 versus the Orioles, you lose tonight.
But that didn't happen.
I know it didn't. So in my mind, I'm thinking, oh, yeah, they can still do 8-2, but no, it only would have worked if they swept the Orioles.
Okay.
So
you're bad.
I was bad.
Mm-hmm.
I was kind of right, but I was mostly wrong. But like you just said, this upcoming weekend / next 7 games for the Padres here, it's their most important. And like you said, on top of that, you have all the teams in front of you playing a very tough schedule.
Mm-hmm.
Scoreboard watching is in full effect. Do I think they can do it? Well, I haven't seen it yet, so my faith is, I got to see it before I believe it.
Mm-hmm.
But it doesn't mean that the opportunity isn't there, because it absolutely is. The opportunity for this team is staring at them right in the face. Now, they're going to need some help. If the teams in front of them all end up winning and beating the really good teams that they're playing this weekend, it doesn't matter as much.
Mm-hmm.
You're going to need help here. The Padres just can't. They don't control their own destiny by no stretch.
Right.
And they're still 4 games under 500.
Actually 5.
5 games under 500. So there's a lot of work to do here. You're still not a quote unquote serious baseball team yet, but just go out tonight, beat Zach Gallen, and then you're going to start making people believe again.
I'm telling you, man.
You will, because Zach Gallen versus Rich Hill on paper, there's no way on paper the Padres should win tonight, even though they're even odds. But with Rich Hill on the mound versus Zach Gallen, who shut them out last Saturday in Arizona, there's no way the Padres should win tonight.
Okay.
But if you do, then you're going to start getting people saying, oh, and that's going to be like, please don't let me down again. Please don't let me down again. Please don't let me down again. And it's up to the team to not do that.
Yeah, but again, I go back to what we said last night, and I even said 5 minutes ago. It's like, you know what? Sometimes you just got to dive into a relationship, even if you know it's not right, even under the sheer hope that it may work. You get the call back from the girl you really like, and she's not only dating you, but you think maybe there's a chance you can make it work. Sometimes you just got to take risks. And why not? We're so fully vested in this team. We're 120 games in. There's 40,000 people there every night. Why now would we turn our back, so to speak? Why now would we say, I'm not going to get fully vested? You're already fully vested. You're going to be hurt either way. If this team misses the postseason, nobody's going to be thrilled about it, regardless of what they do. So it is a big if, but Las Vegas is Las Vegas, and the Padres at home again. Listen, the Diamondbacks have not played well in the second half of the year. They've played better for the last week. They have not played well in the second half of the year. Padres at home haven't been great this year either. This is a coin flip game. If they can win, again, it's an if. I think it's a much bigger if than last night when the Padres are 2-1 favorites with Blake Snell on the mound. But we've seen crazier things happen. This is baseball. There's 162 games. Of course, the Padres can win tonight, just like, of course, Arizona can win tonight. And if the Padres win tonight, all of a sudden, it's kind of like a do you believe scenario. They've won 3 straight. Can they finally make it 4 straight? They're within arm's reach of a playoff spot, despite all the troubles of this year. And I get it. We might get hurt again. Such is life. You get hurt. That's okay. So that's how I look at it. I know we've said things. I know I've said I would have sold at the trade deadline. I still feel that way. I know at times we've probably wanted to bury this team, but the National League is there for the taking, at least when it comes to the wild card spots.
It is, because no one in front of the Padres, with how they played this year, they should not be in this position.
Mm-hmm.
They shouldn't be within arm's distance and a puncher's chance to make a run here. They shouldn't, because they have played such bad baseball all year long. The opportunity for them, they didn't go out and like earn this opportunity. It's just kind of there. It's there in front of them, and they have pieces to, if they can all put it together at the right time, can potentially make a run. Do I think they're going to do it? I don't know, man. I get it. At some point, you are who you are, right? At some point, you are who you are.
Yes and no. I mean, 21 Cardinals won 17 straight.
Right. That's why baseball is so weird, because you can be an average team for the first 120 games, then win 15 in a row.
There are examples, and I see even some people here in the chat today, whether you're watching us on YouTube or listening on San Diego Sports 760 or on the iHeartRadio app. I see some people saying, like in the chat, like, man, coming back from 4.5 down with all these teams between the Padres and that playoff spot would be basically, a first for someone to do that. But it wouldn't. I mean, maybe with that many teams between them, it would be pretty rare. Jim, there's teams that have overcome 7.5 games with 17 to play. It's happened multiple times. So it's possible. I'm not saying it's likely. The odds would support that other teams are going to go to the playoffs before the Padres, but it's not an impossibility, I guess, is my point. And why not? I mean, if nobody runs away with it, then why not? Now, listen, you're right. They don't control their own destiny. If the Cubs get hot, see you in 2024.
Yep.
If the Reds get hot, see you in 2024, and so on and so forth. But what if those teams don't? Because to this point, they haven't.
Exactly. That's the whole thing, is you need a lot of help here. You need other teams in front of you to not go on a run while you kind of just stumble to be around 500. You need to go on a run now, and you need other teams to start losing in front of you. So you can get to September 1st, and you're either a game or 2 games out, or hell, you're in the wild card position. I don't know. But these next 7 games are crucial to potentially that happening. And if they end up going 3-4 in the next 7 games, I'm sorry. They'll just have proven once again that they are this team, and that they're not going to turn it around. I mean, what do they need to go realistically? 5-2 over these next 7 games? For you to feel good?
Yeah, you would feel good, and that goes back to what I said to start the homestand. I'm like, 7-3 you're signing up for, even though, it's not 8-2 would have gotten you to 500. But if you go 5-2 over the next 7 games, you're 2 games under 500. And you're probably 3 games out of a playoff spot, something like that. 2.5, 3.5 games out of a playoff spot. Yeah, I think, Jim, to feel good, you go 5-2 over the next 7 games. That's to feel good about where you are. I think even if you went 4-3, and I get it, you're running out of tomorrows, but your season doesn't end by going 4-3 over the next 7 games. Now, I think you feel good going 5-2 or better, but I don't think your season ends by going 4-3 over the next 7 games. To your point, if you go 3-4 or worse and you're losing ground to teams in front of you this late, Arizona, Miami, at some point the math is completely against you, and you're really running out of chances to make up the ground. But yeah, if they somehow went 5-2 over these next 7 games, I think a lot of Padres fans would be over the moon, and a lot of people would feel as if the Padres have the momentum to potentially do it at that point.
If they can get to September 15th within a couple games of a wild card spot, I think people will feel really good.
So it's August 17th. You know what I mean?
So
you have a month to gain 2 games.
Well, you play the Phillies in there. You go on a road trip to Milwaukee, St. Louis. All right, you play San Francisco in there, and oh, by the way, you go to Houston and you play the Dodgers.
Right.
So
nobody said it was going to be easy.
It's not easy. I'm just saying, like, if you get to September 15th, all right, we talked about this the other day. Their remaining 2-week schedule there to finish off the season is at Oakland, home versus Colorado, home versus St. Louis, on the road versus San Francisco, and then on the road versus the White Sox to end the season.
Pretty manageable.
So that's why these next 7 games, along with the next couple weeks here, are so crucial. Because if you get to that point and you're still 5 out, I mean, that's great. Because then you got a bunch of teams in front. You got a bunch of teams that are essentially the quote unquote cakewalk teams. But that would essentially mean you need to like have everything in front of you go right, and you need all the teams to lose in front of you. And you need to like win every series and sweep a couple in there as well.
Correct. Well, here's my question, I guess, just for Padres fans, whether it's 70470, start it with team, or in the chat, or at 844-570-1360. I mean, if they beat Zach Gallen tonight, do you start to believe? I think a lot of people will. Now, I know on social media, you'll get they're 4 games under 500. They are who they are. This is still really hard. And I understand it. It's true. All of it is true. But I think if they beat Zach Gallen, and correct me if I'm wrong, 844-570-1360, if you beat a Cy Young caliber pitcher and you then have a 3-game winning streak and you're in the midst of a homestand,
it's a start.
Yeah, exactly. And it's like all of a sudden your ears are going to perk up and people are going to start to believe again. And by the way, I'm not going to be critical of that. I'm going to completely understand it, even if they break our hearts again.
Right. And there were times in this season, and don't be that person that said you didn't feel this way, because it's been the most roller coaster-y season, that's even a term, whatever, that I can ever remember for a baseball team, where one day, done, fork, steak, knife, it's over. And then the next day you're like, well, I don't know.
What was it? Fork, steak, knife?
Like stick a fork in it? Like they're done.
That makes sense? He's yawning and saying no.
No.
Okay. Stick a fork
in them.
Okay.
Like they're a piece of steak and I'm just sticking a fork.
Got you. Okay, that does make sense. Yeah. Got you.
It made more sense than roller coaster-y.
Roller coaster, yeah.
I'm just making up all types of stuff on the show today.
You're saying that this team has been a roller coaster?
Yes.
I just think now baseball with the 3 wild cards presents these opportunities. This team to me hasn't been a roller coaster. This team to me has been super disappointing.
Oh, yeah, too.
You know what I mean? Like there haven't been that many reasons really to believe.
The highs have not outweighed the lows.
We're finally getting highs the last 2 days. We're getting grand slams and stolen bases of home.
About damn time.
Right? But we've been waiting for those moments.
If they're a roller coaster, it's pretty much a roller coaster where the scent is like 80% of the ride. And then when you get to the top, but there's no drop. When you get to the top, it just flatlines and then you just get off.
Yeah.
Oh, man. I would go on that ride. That doesn't sound too scary.
Well, yeah, John,
they would name that ride after you. John.
The Schaefer.
Your theme park of sports rides. What would the 2023 Padres theme park ride be at your amazing theme park?
Oh, the expectations would be huge. Be like, get ready for the time of your life. 3-hour wait, and you wait and wait and wait, and then you get to the front of the line, and then you get on something, to Brent's point, and you go up and up and up, and you get to the top, and it just like flatlines.
It would be like the Harry Potter ride we went on at Universal Studios, and it was like,
did we get stuck or something?
No, it was the one that
it was like 24 seconds long.
It was literally 10 seconds, and we got off. We both looked at each other like, that ride was.
Yeah, what was that about?
Why did we were on there for 2 seconds?
Right. It would be a little bit like that.
But it would also suck. The ride would suck. Like this ride was cool, the one we went on.
You're saying the Padres 2023 ride would suck?
So far, yeah.
Yeah, and everyone would want to go on it. Look at the crowds.
Yeah.
There's 3 million people at Petco Park. Everyone wants to see it. I think Kevin wrote yesterday, and he's spot on. He's like, this fan base has been here every single night, and by and large, there haven't been a lot of moments like the last 2 nights with grand slams and Tatis stealing home. I mean, they're 30 and 29 at Petco Park, playing in front of 40,000 fans per night. They're 30 and 29. I've said repeatedly, there's no such thing as a good team in baseball history that is not good at home. And they're finally getting to the point where they've been better at home than they were the first couple of months. But no, you're right. I mean, it has been a real challenge. And with all that being said, and I'm listen, they lose tonight. We're going to say the same thing on Friday. Here we go.
Game over. It's
over.
over.
What if they don't? What if they win tonight? What if they beat Zach Allen?
What if they win more than 3 games in a row, John?
That would be even more special.
They win 4 games in a row.
They're due, Jim.
And I did say that, I'm like, look, do I think that they're going to make the postseason? I don't know. No, I would be more surprised if they do than if they don't make the postseason. But I was like, at some point they're going to have some type of winning streak. Like the due theory, they're due for something.
Right.
Is it going to be enough? I don't know, but it just feels like they're due. You hope that it's that comes before the inevitable potential, end of the season, which would be them getting eliminated.
It's funny how, and I honestly think people on like social or on the text line, because there's very like little accountability to it. You can say whatever the hell you want. It's like people are like, no, they have to go 7-0 these next 7 games.
They have to. The season is over.
Right. Or there was a path, but they've blown it based on the way they played in the first, 3 quarters of the season. Which I understand the sentiment, but again, it's not supported by like facts. It's like if they win this series against the Diamondbacks, if they win a series against the Marlins, they're going to be like 2 games out of a playoff spot. And then what are you going to say? They can't overcome 2 games in 5.5 weeks. You know what I mean? Like you have to follow the story. And the story is they're 4.5 games back. If they were 8.5 games back, it's a different story. Yeah. But they're 4.5 games back.
844-570-1360. Simple question. Do you believe?
And Dave's going to say no.
I know Dave will say no.
So should we get to Dave here or on the other side? Let's get to Dave real quick. 844-570-1360. I was going to say, do you believe if they win tonight against Zach Allen? Like,
True,
I need one more.
Yeah.
I need one more.
2 games in a row
is nothing. But if it's 3 and includes Zach Allen, maybe you can start to believe.
4, people will start talking about World Series again.
I agree. 844-570-1360. Dave, you're on with John and Jim.
Well, it's kind of like this, guys, and Jim, points it out really well that, you're ready to bury these guys and put a fork in them, and then what happens is that the teams in front of them aren't that good, and they're doing the same thing, the next 3 or 4 nights. So this is kind of like a tie game where you're waiting for whoever has the ball last to see who's going to win, and that's about it. Where we're at, I have no idea. I mean, anything is possible. This is just a schizophrenic group of teams that no matter how hard you try to analyze, at the end of the day, you wake up tomorrow and what you thought isn't true anymore. So, and then we go on to the next day. So who the hell knows?
Dave, appreciate the call. But that's,
who the hell knows?
If Dave, who has a critical eye, like we typically do, is willing to say who the hell knows, that's because he reads the newspaper and they're 4.5 games out.
Mm-hmm. The circumstances around them are giving them these opportunities over and over and over again.
And now can they take advantage of it or not? One way to help them get there is with the play of Fernando Tatis Jr. and the core 4. And Tatis last night, obviously a huge moment. I'm not going to use the words. Is that a turning point?
Oh, you used it.
I just used it. But Fernando Tatis Jr., okay, what's that going to mean for the Padres moving forward? We want your reaction. Are you believing in this team or not? 844-570-1360, 70470. Start it with team. Jalen Mayden, San Diego State's quarterback in the 5 o'clock hour. Paul Garrison from the East Village Times will join us at 4 p.m. We'll tell you about our ticket giveaways today on the other side as well. Stay with us on John and Jim. All right. Do you believe, based on a couple of wins over the Orioles, in the Padres right now, 4.5 games back or not? 844-570-1360, 70470. Start your message with team. Plus, we'll tell you about today's giveaways. That's next.
All right, this update is brought to you by Indeed.com. Padres, they got the win last night over the Orioles. They won the series 2-1. They move on to a 4-game series, crucial 4-game series, and a crucial remaining 7 games of this homestand starting tonight with Arizona. 6:40 first pitch. D-backs putting Zach Gallen on the mound, and the Padres are throwing out Rich Hill. Dog days of summer got your business needing help. Check out Indeed, an all-in-one hiring solution that makes it easy to attract, interview, and hire candidates. Visit Indeed.com/credit and get $75 towards your first sponsored job. Terms and conditions apply.
All right, Paul Garrison, East Village Times. He's going to join us. We'll talk some San Diego State football coming up at 4 p.m. And speaking of the Aztecs, Jalen Mayden, the team's quarterback, back for his second year as a starter after taking over at the midway point last year. He's going to join us coming up at 5:15 or so here tonight. By the way, on today's show, we've got tickets to see Darius Rucker. We'll do that during Trainwreck Radio. We have tickets to see Pantera. We'll do that in the 5 o'clock hour.
Okay.
And we have tickets to see Duran Duran, and we'll do that this hour. Duran Duran is at the North Island Credit Union Amphitheater August 22nd, which is like days away. More info is at Ticketmaster.com. So we've been asking this simple question. Do you believe in the Padres? What will it take for you to believe? 844-570-1360, 70470. You can start your message with team. And again, I caution everyone, based on what I said even yesterday and into tonight, is I still need more like we all do.
Yeah.
And I always start everything with the if. Just like last night, I'm like, if they win,
if
they're within 4.5.
Yeah.
2 days ago, you came on and you're like, listen, if they lose and whomever wins, they're 7.5 back. But the opposite has happened the last 2 days. And all of a sudden, they're not 7.5 back. Mm-hmm. They're 4.5 back. I get it. Big task against Zach Gallen. But if they can clear that hurdle tonight and beat Zach Gallen, listen, Arizona has not been great in the second half. You're getting them at home. There's no reason to think that if you beat Zach Gallen, you can't win this series this weekend. Right. Again, with big if.
Mm-hmm. And there was something that last night in the game when it happened, you're like, that's different. That's new. Not really new, but haven't seen that in a while. And I'm not saying Fernando Tatis Jr. stealing home, I'm saying Fernando Tatis Jr. doing something that is just out of this ordinary, out of this world, something on a baseball field where literally everybody goes, wow.
Yeah, definitely.
And the emotion that he showed stealing home last night, I mean, the pitcher had no clue what hit him. Just like, what just happened? And that was such a beautiful steal of home. Probably one of the probably the cleanest steal of home that you'll ever see. Like,
no doubt, no throw.
No throw, nothing. Just clean swipe, got up, super excited, jumping around in the dugout. That was a big run. You know, it just was expand the lead to 5-2. And Fernando Tatis Jr., oh, by the way, is starting to hit a little bit again. He's starting to hit. He was in a massive slump. Had 3 hits last night, a couple stolen bases. The energy that Tatis brings to this team, I'm not saying it's been desperately missed, because there's been times this year where he's made some plays where you're like, wow, those are really good plays, like in right field, throwing out guys, making diving catches. But I don't know. The last night for me, John, it was different, dude. It felt different seeing Fernando do things that really only Fernando can do.
When you said, by the way, you're like, by the way, he's hitting a little bit, right?
Yeah.
By the way, in his last 6 games, I get it, small sample size. Last 6 games, you know what he's hitting?
350?
Yeah, 480. Okay, he's had 3 hit games in his last 6. Now, how about this? I'll do it right here. The 11 games before that, listen to this. The 11 games before that, he was 4 of 47, 085.
Yeah.
So he's figured something out in the short term, obviously, and Bob Melvin's talked a little bit about this. And listen, we have seen Tatis. It's not crazy to say, hey, can he finish off his season playing well? We've seen him have 40-game stretches where he's been among the better players in baseball.
Yep.
So, again, the 085 Tatis, nobody expects. Nobody's asking him to hit 480. But if he can hit for the next month, how does that position this team? And all of a sudden, by the way, we've talked about this offense. Oh, it's been lackluster. If you looked it up from June 1st on, and I don't have it in front of me, I don't even know if I could, but I'm not going to.
Yeah.
I mean, Jim, they are scoring. Now, they've still been helter-skelter. There's those weird nights where they score 10, then no runs the next night. But, like, last couple of days, 10 runs, 5 runs yesterday. Now, can they do it against someone of the caliber or ilk of Zach Gallen?
Mm-hmm.
They didn't in Arizona. They did not do it last week. Can they do it here tonight? We'll find out in a few hours.
And on Twitter, Too Much Morton's, he does a fantastic job of breakdowns and seeing the little things and putting them out there. He's been posting a lot about Fernando's swing of late and how he's been going through a lot of changes, like opening his stance up a little bit more, and just doing things that are like slight tweaks, right? And he posted something on social media, I believe it was either last night or today, where his swing has shortened up a lot. And I think Bob Melvin's even talking about, like, hey, he's letting the ball come to him. He's not being anxious, and he's really staying within himself at the plate. And like those last 6 games, whatever he's doing, keep doing that, because you need Tatis. You're going to need everybody here. I know Soto's slumping a little bit here, but like, you're going to need everybody. It's all hands on deck here. And I think, Tatis, we've said it for every year he's played with this team. He is a spark plug. He is a guy that isn't the engine that gets the main piece of the puzzle, but he is definitely a spark plug for this team that could potentially energize everybody around him.
Yeah, I do buy that. I do think he's one of those infectious players that, I'm not saying for 41 games is going to carry them, but I think for a period of time could carry them. By the way, I'm with what 619 said a few minutes ago. You could text us 70470, start it with team. New parameters for believing: win 4 more in a row.
Yeah.
Or get back to 500. Both, maybe are a possibility even on this homestand. Now, I will say this, because you've said it a lot, and I don't disagree with it. You're going to have to be over 500 to make the postseason.
Yes.
But here's the deal. Arizona comes here tonight, 1 game over 500, and they're 1.5 games out of a playoff spot. They're 1 game over 500. My point is this: if the Padres can get there and become "quote unquote" serious, just 1 game over could find them within something like a game of the playoffs.
I know, man.
Right? So that's because it may not take 86, 87.
They're gonna just pull on everybody's heartstrings, right, for the rest of the season. and not be a definitive in or out.
Until the very end.
You know it's going to happen. They're going to one day lose 4-0 or 4-1, and everyone's going to just, it's over. Feels, they quit again.
Right.
And they're going to win 2 in a row. And you're like, here we go.
Isn't that one thing that's been consistent with this team? Like every time they've been on the mat, we said this yesterday. It's like they never do fully, even though Juan Soto's like, hey, we quit.
Yeah.
It's like they kind of don't. They hang around.
Mm-hmm.
They haven't fully gave up.
Well, Bob Melvin, I think, has talked about this. They've had some crushing, heartbreaking losses this year. Would you agree?
They just had one in Arizona like 3 days ago, right?
Just the worst kind of losses that you could possibly imagine a team ever having.
Yeah, 8th inning leads, multiple run leads.
Now, has it buried them?
Not really.
No, it hasn't. Has it put them in a extremely, extremely difficult position? Yes. But buried them to the point of like no return? No, it hasn't. You look at it and say, all right, well, hopefully all of these losses, and I know Kevin put it in his tidbits the other day, like he had like 25 games where they were all close and they ended up losing them. It was a crazy how it all panned out. If somehow you can't let all of those games truly in the end hurt you for making the postseason, like that's, you want to talk tip your cap to that.
Yeah, it is weird. To your point, it's like, man, they found ways to lose, to be this, quote unquote run differential, great run differential team, yet 5 games under 500 really doesn't make sense. Hence the fact that people say they're quote unquote due, but is that going to happen or not in these final 41 games? All right, more of your reaction. Do you believe or not? 844-570-1360, 70470. Start it with team. Ahead, we'll give away Duran Duran tickets between now and 4 p.m. Paul Garrison from the East Village Times will join us at 4 p.m. We'll talk about San Diego State getting ready for Ohio in 9 days. And Jalen Mayden, San Diego State's quarterback, will join us around 5:15 later on this afternoon. And speaking of the Aztecs, Stanford and Cal could know their future home within 24 hours. What does that mean for San Diego State? We'll tell you next on John and Jim. All right, decisions are coming on the futures for Stanford and Cal and conference realignment. What's that going to mean for San Diego State? That's next. All right, be listening. At some point in the next 10 minutes, we're giving away Duran Duran tickets. So be listening. We'll tell you when to call. Do not call right now. That's a concert coming up at the North Island Credit Union Amphitheater August 22nd. So just days away. More info at Ticketmaster.com. Paul Garrison will join us. He was at the scrimmage on Saturday, so was Jim. Paul Garrison, East Village Times. So he'll help us get into San Diego State. They've got their first game of the year coming up in about 9 days against the Ohio Bobcats. All right, so conference realignment. We haven't talked in like 2 days. So I was getting like shakes and everything, but
You were.
there's finally some news related to realignment, even though everything's kind of been realigned, I guess, right? I mean, there's been so much movement.
Yeah, it's been mostly realigned.
It's been
to the point where,
what else can be?
what else can be done?
All right,
Dude,
so
it's been realigned, like saying like, oh, I had a puzzle and then I dropped it on the floor, and now all the pieces have been realigned. That's pretty much how they did it.
Pretty
yeah,
much.
basically.
Yeah, good
So,
job, Brett.
okay, John Wilner, who of course was the one that broke the SC and UCLA story that started this whole mess,
The world will never be the same again.
and he was basically right because the Pac-12, is never going to look the way it previously looked, and that's being kind. But he tweeted out this morning that his hunch is that in the next 24 hours we'll have clarity on Stanford and Cal, whether or not they're heading to the ACC. He said momentum is currently trending in favor of Cal and Stanford to the ACC. Now, we reported yesterday, we didn't report, but we passed along the note that like everyone's calling in favors to the ACC for Stanford, like Condoleezza Rice and former presidents of the United States are calling on behalf of like SMU right now. So people realize that like the music's going to stop pretty soon and they want to be on the right side of the fence here. So here's what this means. Hopefully we get resolution on Stanford and Cal by the end of tomorrow. And if they go to the ACC, what that means, Jim, is that Oregon State and Washington State, in all likelihood, are just coming to the Mountain West to play with San Diego State.
That'd be cool.
They may have some other options. They might be able to go to the American. There may be some other options. I don't think at that point they can reconfigure any Pac-12. The Mountain West might become the Pac-12. Who knows? I do think if Stanford and Cal do not get an invitation to the ACC in the next 24, 36 hours, at that point, those four schools might try to make a go of it. And rebuild's the wrong word, maybe start a new league. Those 4, can they expand, invite, get a TV deal, go edit themselves and kind of start the process over? I don't know what the league would be called. I don't know who would be in it, but that's my hunch. If Stanford and Cal get the invite, see you later. They'll be in the ACC, even though it makes no sense. If they don't get the invite, I think at that point they immediately pivot and say, okay, the 4 of us, let's go at this together, at least in the short term. What do we need to do to add to this? Can we add San Diego State or not? Does San Diego State want to do that? Can we add SMU or not? And go from there. So I think we have some level of clarity based on John Wilner's reporting within 24 hours.
And as Gloria Navarez, commissioner of the Mountain West Conference, when she was on with us Tuesday, saying like everything's on the table, like we aren't going to be just, we're good. Hey, if there's an opportunity for things to happen, we're going to look into it. So yeah, it'd be pretty cool in a year if you get that scenario played out
With Oregon State, Washington State, you're saying?
Yeah, because it would help your conference.
What would you prefer? Would you prefer just the quick and easy? Listen, Cal, Stanford, they want obviously Power 5, as everyone does, but they see it almost like a birthright. Like they're gonna keep knocking on doors. Big 10, ACC, eventually get in. So would you prefer they just go so Oregon State and Washington State can just play games with you, so to speak, or would you prefer Cal and Stanford, at least in the short term, don't get the invite, and then they need to figure out another path, and they tried to go at it with some new league that included San Diego State?
Well, I think we'd all prefer if that new league with San Diego State was a Power 5 league.
Right, which is going to be hard, obviously, without all these schools that have left for other leagues.
True. How does it work, though, with like, if you're in a Power 5 league and then you go down to a non-Power 5 conference?
Like Oregon State or Washington State, potentially?
That's just weird, dude.
It's just, I mean.
You're like, oh, cool, we just lost our Power 5 status.
Which means they lost a lot of TV money and, there's all types of they're losing as much as anyone potentially in realignment. Oregon State and Washington State.
Oh, man, all the schools around them just screwed them.
Right, every other school potentially ends up in the Power 5. If Stanford and Cal get into the ACC,
right,
then everyone else has gotten into a Power 5 league except those two.
Wow.
So we should know something, I think, according to John Wilner and others. This can't continue forever. 2024 is coming. They need to play football.
Yeah, the world's just not going to stop unless
Yeah, I mean,
the meteor comes.
You'd have to have a schedule within, hopefully the meteor doesn't come. You'd have to have a schedule within just, a couple of months, to be honest.
You do.
For 2024. So we'll see. I don't even know what to think from a San Diego State perspective at this point, to be honest, in terms of conference realignment.
I think maybe let everything kind of cool down a bit, right? And then reconvene and go at this or whatever they're going to do later on. Because right now, I feel like there's nothing that can be done.
Exactly. Like I don't even know. Right. Like
the moment was, that Friday, right? That Friday was the moment, and it wasn't any fault of San Diego State of what happened, but that was the moment where if they were going to go to a Power 5, then all the teams in the conference in the Pac-12 needed to sign their letter of intent, or the grant of rights, excuse me. And then once that happened, you were going to get San Diego State being moved into the Pac-12, getting voted in, and then the press release would have happened later that day. But because of the complete turnaround of Oregon and Washington, it didn't happen. So now you kind of have to move on and make sure that you continue to build your program for the next opportunity, whenever that is.
And they always
hopefully it's they have better luck next time.
Well, it's a great way to look at it, is luck. And real quick, because Paul Garrison is going to join us on the other side. Scott Barnes, AD at Oregon State, said yesterday, we were better off with Colorado leaving for the Big 12 with who we were going to replace them with if the 9 stood together.
It was San Diego State.
And that's that's literally word for word what he said. We were better off without Colorado with who we were going to replace Colorado with. And it just didn't work out.
It sucks because it's just all... they couldn't have nothing San Diego State could have done.
Right, outside of their control. Paul Garrison, East Village Times. He was at the scrimmage on Saturday. He'll get us ready for next Saturday against the Ohio Bobcats. Jalen Mayden, San Diego State's quarterback, will join us coming up in the 5 o'clock hour. Call right now if you want Duran Duran tickets. Caller 3, they're yours. 844-570-3776. 1360. Paul Garrison next.
All right, this update is brought to you by Indeed.com. Padres beat the Orioles last night to win the series. They move on to take on the Diamondbacks tonight at Petco Park, starting for a 4-game series. They are now 4.5 games back of the final wildcard spot in the National League. Pitching matchup for tonight's game, you got Zach Gallen on the mound for the D-backs, with Rich Hill on the mound for the Padres. Dog Days of Summer got your business needing help. Check out Indeed, an all-in-one hiring solution that makes it easy to attract, interview, and hire candidates. Visit Indeed.com/credit and get $75 towards your first sponsored job. Terms and conditions apply.
All right, San Diego and Southern California, what's going on? Hour 2, John and Jim. This hour, your chance to win tickets to see Darius Rucker at Gallagher Square, Petco Park, August 25th. More info at Ticketmaster.com. Next hour, by the way, Jalen Mayden, San Diego State's quarterback, will join us in the 5 p.m. hour. San Diego State practicing this afternoon. He should join us somewhere around either 5:15 or 5:30. And speaking of the Aztecs, Paul Garrison covers San Diego State football and basketball for the East Village Times. He's back with us on John and Jim. And Paul, we always appreciate it. 9 days out from San Diego State's opener. I know you were there this past weekend for the scrimmage at Snapdragon Stadium. Now, we were there as well. I was racing around the concourse following my 4-year-old. I watched 0 plays. But what were your takeaways from Saturday during that scrimmage at Snapdragon?
I think some of the big takeaways is that the offense played better at a fan fest than I think you can kind of in recent memory. Every fall, it seems like there's this broken record of, well, San Diego State's offense is playing against one of the best defenses in the country, and that's why they're behind. But Jalen Mayden, your guest coming up, he was sensational in a game that's become dominated by QBs. He was completely in control and easily the best player on the field. Keenan Kristen, I thought, played really well, as good as Mayden played. Talking with Cody Moon, linebacker, he also played really well. He said it was the running game and the Aztecs being able to establish that running game that allowed them to be unpredictable. And that's exactly what they looked like. They looked like a team that the defense didn't know exactly what was going to be coming next. The team is very physical. They're very fast. They're big. And I think that there are so few expectations on this team that I think the season could go either way, and it could be really, really exciting.
I was there too, Paul, and I saw the first couple drives, and they looked really good. The offense was moving the ball down the field. Jalen had that one, I think, 40-plus yard pass down the middle, scoring touchdowns on both of the opening drives they had. Offense looks good. Then the question is, is the defense, is that a problem for this team because of how the offense looked on Saturday? Do you believe that or not?
Until Kurt Maddox's defense turns in a complete season where it's not very good, I think you have to give the benefit of the doubt, given their history, that they're going to be okay, that they're going to figure things out. But that is the question. I mean, the offensive and defensive line, until they're playing other teams, is going to be a question because they've been competitive with each other. But it's possible that neither of them are any good. They could both be good, but you can't really see because they're going up against each other. Yeah. Last year, with all of the veterans and players now in the NFL who were on SDSU's defensive line, they dominated the offensive line in practice and scrimmages. And you're like, well, that's because they're good. And so it gave you that indication. There's so many new pieces, question marks on both fronts that it's difficult to tell, exactly which is which. But, Kurt Maddox had the unenviable job of taking over for Rocky Long. And I think most people thought that was an impossible task, but he has done a phenomenal job in his role.
Yeah, there's no question about it. Paul Garrison is with us right now. He covers San Diego State for the East Village Times on John and Jim, the all-new San Diego Sports 760. So we've spent so much time talking about Jalen Mayden and the importance of this offseason and playing under Ryan Lindley. When you talk about next steps for Jalen, and it's contingent on receivers, tight ends, offensive line, obviously, but when you think about next steps for Jalen, what do you need to see him do here to show development from last year to 2023?
Well, any conversation with Jalen Mayden has to start with turnovers. And he had one bad turnover. He spoke about it after the scrimmage and just, said that can't happen. Des Malone had an interception of him in the end zone. And so I think you're always going to start there. But I think the next level really for him is to understand that he's playing football at the next level. There's a difference between kind of playing good and being kind of that star and knowing that you're that good and knowing that you're that star. And I think the confidence that he could instill in the young wide receivers, in, the young tight ends, the offensive line, he can give them this feeling that the only way the offense can be stopped is if they make a mistake. And I think just that confidence to be able to be that guy is really a next step for him. And then, something that Ryan Lindley had talked about in the offseason is he really beats himself up. Jalen Mayden beats himself up when he makes mistakes, and being able to turn the page and not allow those mistakes to pile up and to snowball has been a focus. And, Jalen Mayden said he's gotten a lot better at it. He said that in the last at the FanFest scrimmage.
And for you, Paul, like looking at the schedule for this team, how important is it for them to get off to a good start and just get that first win under their belt right away versus Ohio because of how last year went to start the season against Arizona?
I mean, it's almost a rhetorical question, right? I mean, that it's huge. They were 7-6. There is this idea that they underperformed, and that underperforming had to do with just them not doing their job. And that can only be true if they're able to kind of in the off season work through that and then get that opening win. They always talk about that the biggest improvement is in that second game and going from that second game to that third game. And being able to do that and go into UCLA, 2-0, I don't think you can really overestimate how important that would be.
Yeah, I'm with you. Paul Garrison with us right now from the East Village Times. So when we talk about, no Jesse Matthews, no Tyrell Shavers, both of those players in NFL camps. We know Jesse, unfortunately, had an ACL situation. Tyrell Shavers right now with the Bills. When you look at the current skill position players on San Diego State, like where does it start for the Aztecs in terms of playmakers outside of Jalen Mayden?
Well, I think it's going to start with Keenan Christian. He had a couple of plays in the scrimmage that were the kind of plays that stars make. He caught a little screen pass, had Dallas Branch right on him, but made a beautiful cut, set up his block, and then turned what looked like maybe a negative or a no gain into a 21-yard gain. He had a little pitch where he had Vaikaho right on his hip, and he was able to, do what he did and get past him for a first down. And they were backed up in their own end zone. It was the same thing. He was able to get a first down in the drill where they started at their own 2. He made a great cut inside and had a huge run. And after the practice, Brady Hoke spoke about him making more cuts. So I think it's going to start with him. And then I think you go and you start looking at their tight ends, and, they have a whole stable of tight ends there. And I think they're going to be looking for different players there to be able to kind of be the centerpiece of the offense. And then you're going to go with, Mekhi Shaw, Philippe Wesley, who both had those touchdowns, making guys miss in the open field. And, I think there is potential that as good as Matthews and Shavers were, they didn't get a lot of those yards after the catch. And I think that this receiving core has that potential to, break tackles and kind of extend plays and get kind of bigger chunks.
Paul, make the case for Jalen Mayden to be the Mountain West Conference Player of the Year.
Well, okay. He's the Mountain West Conference Player of the Year if he's just been what he was at the end of last year without the turnovers. He threw for 2,000 yards, and he started as a safety.
Yeah, it's amazing.
It's crazy, and so you just project those numbers out to a whole season, and you're getting into that conversation. And then if he does that, and he has a couple of those plays that he had against Fresno State, where he had one of the best running touchdowns like you've ever seen. I mean, it was Michael Vick-esque in his ability to escape and move through. And he has some of those memorable plays while limiting the turnovers. I think that's where you're at. And then, of course, it's going to be team success. And if they are competing for a Mountain West championship, then I think that's where that comes from. The interesting part about it, though, is, he just hasn't done it consistently enough. So you still have those questions because he's looked great some games, and then other games he hasn't looked great. And so it's about that consistency. And then again, coming back to it, he has to protect the football.
Paul, we really do appreciate it. We're looking forward to next weekend, just 9 days away, week 0, San Diego State, Ohio, Snapdragon Stadium, 4 p.m. Our pregame coverage will begin at 2 p.m. Paul Garrison does a great job covering San Diego State for the East Village Times. Paul, we appreciate it, and we'll do it again here once we get into the season. So thank you.
Thanks, Paul.
Appreciate you guys.
All right, Paul Garrison. Again, Jalen Mayden will join us in 1 hour. San Diego State's quarterback heading into this 2023 season off that 2,000-yard passing season with the Aztecs in 2022.
Yeah, we asked this question a couple of days ago. Can Jalen Mayden throw for 3,000 yards this season? I don't think that's out of the possibility at all. If he played a full season last year, I think he would have thrown 3,000 yards. Well over.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, to your point, I mean, he was 2,000 yards in like 7 games, right?
Right.
So, I mean, he should, if he stays healthy, they're going to need him to throw for 3,000 yards. I mean, and you might say, well, that's a lot. I mean, that's 250 plus yards a game, but they're going to need that. I mean, unless they're the team that runs for 250 plus yards a game, but they ran for 140 something yards a game. So you have to have balance. Balance today is 250 plus passing yards.
Yep.
So they really will need that. We'll see if they get it. I don't know anything about Ohio's defense. I do know Ohio's offense is very skilled.
Yeah.
Knowing that means that I'm not expecting every week to be, you got to beat someone 13-10. We talked about it, I think, earlier this week or late last. Like, they scored like 20 points a game last year or 21. They got to get that up towards high 20s.
Yes, definitely.
To give them, their defense can't be perfect.
Yeah.
And in today's football, it's hard to ask your defense to hold everyone to 10 points.
Yeah. If you have a team, with Kurt Maddox, as Paul said there, like until a Kurt Maddox-led defense has just a horrible year, it's kind of hard to say that this defense isn't going to be good, or at least like respectable and have moments where they flash like really like brilliance. So we'll give them the defense because you trust Kurt Maddox, and he's proven that every single year with this team. There hasn't been like a year where the defense has just fallen off a cliff. If there were games, where it's like this doesn't look good, but as the overall whole, defense has been solid. But it's the offense. It's the offense. Everything hinges on Ryan Lindley and how this offense looks and how Jalen Mayden looks. It's crazy to say that and to put so much pressure on just those two people and just that unit. But if, like you said, you get the number of points per game to around 30 a game,
which again that's a big jump.
It's a big jump.
I mean, maybe it goes from 21 to 27, which is a jump, by the way. That's a pretty significant jump.
I think that poses this, that's really good.
And again, it's stupid, but it's true that, like, if they do take care of the football, if you get the positives of Jalen without the extra turnover, then you're going to be set up. You're going to be set up really well. But if they do turn the football over, he was prone to the interception late last year. I think he had 3 in that bowl game. That could be problematic. I want to get back to tonight down at Petco Park because someone texted this in about home road splits with Zach Allen, because we're looking at this like, hey, San Diego's even money tonight. Rich Hill, Zach Allen.
Are you going to tell me something that's a good thing or a bad thing?
Really good from a Padres perspective. Zach Gallen has been a completely different pitcher outside the friendly confines of whatever Arizona Stadium is called. Is it still Chase Field?
Sure.
So at home this year, he is Cy Young. He's 10-1 with a 1.8. So he's Cy Young at home. He's 10-1 with a 1.8. You know what he is on the road? He's 2-4 in 13 starts with a 4.72. He's a completely different pitcher, completely different on the road.
When's the parade, John?
Exactly.
When is the parade happening?
Well, it's not going to be until late October because that's when the season. I mean, maybe November.
Are we going to broadcast from down there, you think?
I would like to, yeah. If that's a possibility.
The
I'd
corner
like to.
of 7th and J, like we were always at for the Blind Burrow.
I would like to do that if we could.
The number one sports bar in San Diego, voted number one sports bar.
That'd be really
Blind
fun.
Burrow will be there tomorrow.
So that doesn't guarantee you win, but it gives you, again, a little bit of a look into why this is a coin flip type game. If this was in Arizona, Rich Hill, Zach Allen, okay, they'll be favored, Arizona.
Mm-hmm.
But it's here, and he hasn't been as good on the road this year. And yeah, we know Rich Hill hasn't done anything, but back to our he's due theory, like the team is due. Maybe Rich Hill is due for 4 innings of one-run baseball.
4 innings. Go on, prove it.
I mean, it's not like Rich Hill's not capable of going 4 or 5 innings. I mean, just look at it. It's littered throughout his season. We're not asking that much.
No, you're not. He's done it before.
Yeah.
It's just that when he came over here, he's had 2 of his worst starts of his career. Or not career, but career. Sorry, this season, not career.
Right.
My bad. And you're going to need some length out of Rich Hill tonight. I don't. So hopefully you can get him going. If he gets into the 5th inning tonight, Rich Hill, I feel really good. Because Pedro Avila is a guy that I was harping on, and he needs to be the piggyback here for a Rich Hill start. And I would only go 3 with Rich Hill, Avila, and then get to your bullpen. But if Rich Hill can get you in the 5th tonight, that'd be nice. And the Zach Gallen splits are encouraging. They're encouraging. You just need to see it happen. It needs to happen tonight.
YouTube in the chat. That's the person's name. YUTOOB.
Oh, cool.
So no relation to YouTube. Says Zach Allen at Petco Park. His numbers are fine.
They're okay.
4 starts, no wins, no losses. A 3.48. He's allowed 5 home runs in 4 starts, but with a 3.48, which is fine. So not overly good, not overly bad. To your point, out of the Rich Hill, Pedro Avila tonight, like you got to show up. Like you got to get out of those 2. You're going to have to pitch 5-6 innings to give yourself a chance here tonight, or maybe just again, maybe tonight. Last night we saw the steal of home. 2 nights ago we saw the grand slam. Maybe we see something from Manny tonight or Soto tonight, or just if somebody just steps up. I mean, with all this star power, we're not asking the world, and we've finally seen it the last couple of days, and maybe that continues.
And you know what you're going to get tonight again is a packed house at Petco.
Oh yeah, huge. Dawn and Mud
night with the action figure or the
action figure. I love that.
Bobblehead, my bad, not action figure.
What would the action figure do?
It bobbles up and down.
The Dawn action figure would have like a piece of paper in his hands, and then you can like go sideways with the paper, back and forth with the paper, because he reads the consent broadcast thing, and he always likes to pop the paper
right without the express written consent of whatever. Yeah.
And then then Mud would have like
the lava lamp,
his lava lamp behind him. And
so
then
his superpower would be like turning on a lava lamp, and Don's superpower would be like reading.
Pretty much, yeah, pretty much.
I kind of want John and Jim dual bobbleheads now. You think that would sell out Petco Park tonight?
I want a John and Jim dual bobblehead
that talks. And it says Jim's an idiot.
Sneezes.
I sneeze.
You
and
sneeze, and I say
that's what
you're
makes
an
his
idiot.
head bobble. Is
Yeah. Chew, you're an idiot.
Yeah.
Chew, you're an idiot.
And then we need to have like a piece of like see-through, not glass, but like plexi or whatever behind us. And then Brent is behind us, but you can't see Brent's face, just like in Home Improvement.
I like that.
And it's just Brent's, wearing his Bears hat.
Yeah. Yeah. I do like that.
Perfect.
We have some friends in the bobblehead business. Maybe we should call them about a John and
Maybe
Jim
we
bobblehead.
should. And it has to say things.
So, but the Don and Mud bobble tonight, to be clear, which is part of like a theme night package. It's not for everyone.
Yeah.
But it does talk.
It does talk. It says multiple catchphrases.
It's pretty cool.
Yeah. If I were to pick the one giveaway this year. This isn't like a everybody giveaway. This is only a special.
You got to buy like the upgraded ticket.
Yeah, and I believe before the
They
show
had
started
tickets
today,
available.
there were tickets available for
There
this.
were, yeah.
So, go check it out.
Yeah, I don't know if they still are, but yeah, they were.
I would say that if you're a Padres fan, tonight's bobblehead, even though it's not for everybody, I would want to get that. I want my hands on that.
You said this is like the giveaway of not just like this for you is like their number one giveaway in a while, right? I would take this over the Ha-Sung Kim,
which is also a very good one as well.
I know, but that's what I'm saying. Like you take it over the player bobble. You would take the broadcast. That's how closely tied broadcasters are to teams because you're just there for so long.
Yep.
Players can come and go. Like Juan Soto, we don't know if he's here for more than a couple of seasons.
Yeah.
Where Don and Mud now have been doing this together they're already pushing close to a decade, 8, 9 seasons, 7, 8 seasons.
Well, Mud's been here for
forever.
2 decades.
And even Orsillo at this point, you're pushing, it's been 7, 8 years, has it not?
About, yeah. So if you're a Padres fan, I'd want to get my hands on that one.
And if you're not a Padres fan, you might not.
I still would want to get my hands on that one. No matter what, I want to have like that bobblehead to me. Yeah, they did a good job with that one.
Jim you have been preaching about the Padres promotional schedules for years. You're a big fan of there. You have. Every time I was talking about this year. You always want to lead the show with it.
Well,
like, oh my gosh, they're doing a towel giveaway. We need to talk about it.
No.
They have a hoodie this year.
Well, here's the thing. There have been years in the past where they have had horrible promotion schedules.
But the last couple of years, though, have been really good.
To their credit.
Right.
When certain people left the organization in the promotions department, okay, and they got a massive upgrade.
All right, so this isn't a shot at like Jace Tingler.
No.
Okay.
They have done very well with their promotional schedule. There are some things on there like I'm not really fond of this or that or okay, beach towel. They always do beach towels, right? But there are some bobbleheads that I think they have done a fantastic job. Like the Ha-Sung Kim one that's going to be, I believe, next Tuesday or next week.
Miami.
It's Miami, where his helmet falls off.
Oh, that's cool.
And he's like in the running
always
pose,
running, and his helmet always falls off. Right.
I think that's pretty good. They've done the classic, celebrate the 1998 team every year bobbleheads collection.
I like that.
That was a couple of years ago. That was really good. The Manny blowing the bubble bobblehead.
Oh yeah.
And then tonight, the special Don and Mud bobblehead.
Nobody knows more about the Padres promotional schedule than Jim, including the Padres promotional director.
I am a bobblehead whore. I love bobbleheads. That sounded weird. I'm sorry. Oh boy.
Okay, on the other side. Okay.
And that's marked now by Brent.
On the other side, we're going to get to the wrap. Plus, still ahead, your chance to win tickets to see Darius Rucker this hour. Pair of tickets to see Darius Rucker. That's at Petco Park's Gallagher Square, August 25th. More info at Ticketmaster.com. Jalen Mayden, San Diego State's quarterback, is going to join us around 5:15 or so. But up next, we will get to the wrap. Is this another must-win series for the Padres or not? That's next, John and Jim.
Breaking news.
All right, we've got Darius Rucker tickets to give away. We'll do that this hour. Jalen Mayden, San Diego State starting quarterback, will join us at 5 p.m. And up next, The Wrap.
All right, this update is brought to you by Indeed.com. Padres, they won last night versus the Orioles, taking the series from them 2 games out of 3. They now move on to take on the Arizona Diamondbacks for a crucial 4-game series this weekend, starting tonight at Petco Park, 6:40. First pitch, Zach Gallen on the mound for the D-backs against Rich Hill for the Padres. Dog days of summer, got your business needing help? Check out Indeed, an all-in-one hiring solution that makes it easy to attract, interview, and hire candidates. Visit Indeed.com/credit and get $75 towards your first sponsored job. Terms and conditions apply.
No joke, ESPN.com wrote like 13,000 words on the NBA schedule, which, by the way, is the same every year. There's no intrigue. The Lakers play teams in the West, and they play teams in the East, and so on and so forth.
Who wrote that article?
I think it's like a series of writers. I'll tell you.
Probably like
so long that it was like everyone. It says NBA insiders. It was written by everyone.
So,
well, they have to think of all the money they shelled out for that NBA contract. They don't have a choice.
And to Brent, my point, like they shelled out all this money for the NBA contract, right?
Yeah.
They've released and fired so many NBA talent.
Yeah, there's been a lot of talent.
Jalen Rose, Van Gundy. They just fired Nick Friedel. A bunch of other people have gotten fired that have been involved. Mark Jackson got fired. Now, I don't like Mark Jackson or Van Gundy as broadcasters. I think that they're kind of annoying to listen to, but just the fact that they all got fired, like that's crazy to me, dude.
Well, they have
invested so much in the NBA. You get rid of like all your NBA talent.
Well, that's because here's the deal. When you spend like, I don't know what the number is. If you spend like $500 million a year or $1 billion a year on NBA games, you might want to cut costs where you can. It's also, like if you're $1 billion in, you might want to save $1 million here, $1 million there.
Also, that's all right. They'll be all right after the NBA Cup.
True.
They'll be back in the plus.
And you bring in a guy like Pat McAfee, who
it's like $10, $12 million a year.
Yeah, it's not a small chunk of change there.
Dude, this article is so long that one of the headers is the easiest path to advancing to the NBA Cup. And then like 6 writers say, oh, it's Boston. Oh, it's Brooklyn. I think it's Cleveland. I mean, come on. Like, look at this thing.
I know.
It goes on and on and
scrolling.
on. Well, but look at that. I mean, that is a long article.
It is.
That is a really, really,
it's
really
like a Bob
article.
Nightingale article.
About the schedule. We're talking schedule. All right, let's get to this.
I feel like this is last week's wrap. Is this a must-win series for the Padres?
It is. If they split this series and then they happen to take 2 or 3 from Miami, is it the end of the world? No, but 4-3 ain't good.
So then it's not a must-win series based on what you just said. You started by saying it is. You're like, well, if they split the series and then take 2 out of 3, it's not the end of the world.
No, I said it is the end of the world. Didn't I?
You said is the end of the world?
Oh, wait, no, I said it isn't.
You're like, that's not the end of the world.
Retract that. It's a must-win series.
Okay, so you're saying must-win, got to get 3 out of 4.
Got to get 3 or 4 this year. You have to take 3 or 4 from Arizona here after what happened last weekend in Arizona, losing 2 or 3. You got to win 3 or 4 here. You have to. Do it.
I'm tempted to go down that path. I won't do it yet.
Do it.
I won't do it yet. I'm with you on they gotta go 4-3 here or better in these 7. I won't say they have to do 3-1 or better against Arizona.
5-2.
They got to be 4-3 or better in these 7 games.
5-2, baby.
And if they go 4-3, you're going to say, let's talk about the Niners' offensive line.
Well, if they go 4-3 and they still are 5.5, or they're 5 out or whatever,
yeah, that's possible. You're right.
It's like,
okay. Next question.
Will the Aztecs men's basketball team be ranked in the top 10 of the preseason AP poll?
Ooh, top 10? I'm gonna say no, but they'll be 100% top 25, 100% top 20, and I could even probably say 100% or close to 100% top 15.
I think you said it perfectly. San Diego State, because they're in the Mountain West, because we're in this bottom left-hand corner of the country, because they don't get near the respect they should, likely won't be in the preseason top 10. If Kentucky had the same roster and was coming off a national championship game, they'd obviously be in the top 10. I'm with you. They'll clearly be ranked, likely between 10 and 20, and you're probably right. Probably somewhere between 10 and 15. I think it's possible they're in the top 10, but it's probably more likely they're inside the top 15.
Do you think they would get some kind of push like Butler got the year after they went to the national title game?
I would love to know what Butler was ranked in the preseason poll the year after they went to the national title game, because the next year they went to the national title game. That might not be easy to look up immediately, Brian. Maybe it is.
Yeah, I don't know.
But like, okay, are they replacing a lot? San Diego State? Yeah, I mean, they're replacing a good amount. Nathan Mensah, Aguka Rowe, Keyshawn Johnson.
Well, here's the thing.
But they got a lot back.
It's not about how they start. It's about how you finish. Duh.
That
cliche.
was really well said.
I spun the cliche wheel that I landed on that today. So
wouldn't
you're welcome.
you rather start preseason number 1 and be terrible than
like North Carolina last year?
Outside the top 25 and go to the national championship game?
Yeah,
Hey,
just be like North Carolina last year, ranked number 1 in the nation, and they didn't even make the tournament.
Good point.
And you had one of your best players transferred to Michigan. Arizona now, actually.
What are you talking about? Caleb Love?
Yeah. He transferred and they went to Michigan and he had decommitted and they went to Arizona.
Yeah, that's right. Next question.
Will the Aztecs be 2-0 when they face UCLA at Snapdragon on September 9th?
I'm going to say yes.
Speak it into existence.
I'm speaking it into existence. They're going to start the year 2-0. I think Ohio, they're going to be much more prepared for them than they were for Arizona last year. If we're looking at factors in play like the weather, it's not going to be 1,000 degrees, so that's a great sign.
Mm-hmm.
I'm going to say they're starting 2-0. I kind of feel like they have to start 2-0. You start 2-0, then you split the UCLA Oregon State series. Okay. Now, if you happen to beat UCLA, then you got to get greedy. Then it's like, hey, let's start the season 4-0. That would be, but small sample size. Start small here. I'm going to say yes. They will start 2-0 this year into the UCLA game.
I'll say this: if they're able to do that, what a cool opportunity. 4:30 September 9th, CBS television, San Diego State, UCLA. Like if you're 2-0, San Diego State, UCLA plays just one game, then they'll play week 0. They'll host Coastal Carolina, very good program. But if they beat Coastal Carolina, you get 1-0 UCLA, maybe on the cusp of the top 25 against 2-0 San Diego State in a nationally televised game on CBS in San Diego. I think that's pretty cool with good storylines. By the way, UCLA, the last time they were supposed to play in San Diego was, of course, the Holiday Bowl when they didn't play in the game 2 years ago. Anyway, I didn't answer the question. I do think they will. By the way, the line has moved a little bit. San Diego State was a 3-point favorite. They're now a 3.5-point favorite against Ohio a week from Saturday. Next question.
Was Fernando Tatis Jr.'s steal of home plate last night a potential, wait for it, turning point for the Padres?
Oh, a turning point.
TBD. Talk to me in 2 weeks.
Okay, so you're not going to answer the question. So
No, I'm not.
The answer is yes, it was a potential turning point. The answer is definitively yes. Doesn't mean it was a turning point.
Fine. You got me there.
You wouldn't be a good lawyer, I don't think.
I'd be the worst lawyer.
You'd just be sneezing throughout the trial. Like the crime of the century, you're just sneezing.
I'm like, the glove doesn't fit.
Exactly.
You must have quit.
I feel as if Padres fans are thinking that tonight's a really big game. And I'm going down that path. Like, hey, it's a big game.
It feels like it.
It does.
The closer you get, you're like, you look at everything around. It's like, okay, yeah, this is the half game. Because
get that half game back.
Yeah, this no one. They're looking at the schedule tonight.
I think Milwaukee's playing. Are they?
Are they playing? Milwaukee is playing the Dodgers, and that's the only team tonight
in the wild card
race. Except Milwaukee's leading in the division.
Yeah, but they're in the wild card race because if they get passed by Cincinnati,
true,
right, or the Cubs,
yeah,
but yeah.
So you're actually rooting for the Dodgers in that game. As someone on the text line was like, "Oh, have we stooped to a point where we're rooting for the Dodgers?" Yes. Well, would you rather this? Are you so hard-headed to say, you know what? I'd prefer the Dodgers lose if we're out than the Dodgers win and we're in? Like, who cares if the Dodgers win to benefit you? That's not a bad thing.
I totally get what he's saying, though.
Well,
I've been in that situation where, if we needed the Packers for anything, I'd be like, screw it. If we can't get in there on our own, then I don't want to get in there with their help. So we have to
162 baseball
hear
games.
about
Who cares
it.
if the Dodgers beat the Brewers?
And they're going to win the division. There's nothing there to play for anymore. The Dodgers have completely they won 10 in a row. Do you know that?
They're 14-1 in August. Did you know that?
They are only now, I want to say, 5 games back of Atlanta
for the best record in the National League.
That's
right,
on the
that's possible.
That's on the table for them.
Right.
They want the 1 seed so they could potentially probably play Atlanta at home. So they're playing for something.
Yep, that's right.
So
imagine if they were the 1 seed and the Padres somehow made it as the 5 seed. Beat the 4. Lines deja vu all over. They're 102 and 60. They're like 40-9 in their last 49 games. Beating up on the Padres throughout the regular season and then draw them again. That'd be pretty interesting.
Yeah, very chef's kiss to this season.
Still possible.
Oh, man.
All right, call right now if you want 2 free tickets to see Darius Rucker. You're going to play Trainwreck Radio. First 2 callers will be our contestants for a chance to win a pair of tickets to see Darius Rucker at Gallagher Square on August 25th. Great giveaway. This is trivia. First 2 callers will be our contestants. Here's the number, 844-570-1360. Again, the number, 844-570-1360. Free tickets to see Darius Rucker at Gallagher Square August 25th. More info at Ticketmaster.com. You need to call right now. 844-570-1360. That's next. Plus, Jalen Mayden, San Diego State's quarterback, will join us just after 5 p.m. Stay with us on John and Jim. San Diego State's quarterback Jalen Mayden will join us coming up at 5 p.m. Trainwreck Radio is next. By the way, Padres have done something they haven't done since before 2021. What is that? We'll tell you coming up at 5:30. We have Pantera tickets to give away. You like that? We have Pantera tickets to give away. We'll do that in the 5 o'clock hour. Jalen Mayden, what an amazing story. What an incredible year last year, from safety to starting quarterback, threw for 2,000 yards in a half season, back as the starter under Ryan Lindley this year, less than 2 weeks out from game one. He's going to join us coming up in about 15 minutes, just after 5 p.m.
I like it.
All right, let's play.
All right, 3 questions, 2 contestants, 1 lifeline. Today's contestants, we have David and Eddie. David, you called in first, so you have your choice of John or Jim. Turn your radio down. Who do you want to go with today?
John, please.
All right, so David is with John.
Okay, that means Eddie, you're with me. All right?
Perfect.
Cool.
And his first name is Jim.
My name is Jim.
Mm-hmm.
This is John. This is John and Jim. Welcome to our show. Brent, what is today's question of the day?
All right, now we got that covered.
Mm-hmm.
All right, guys, according to 24/7 Sports, they did a list of their top college coaching jobs for college football. So today's question, according to 24/7 Sports, what are the top 8 coaching jobs in college football?
Okay. I like this question. So, Eddie, you were up first. What is your first guess? And you do have your lifeline if you choose to use it.
I'm definitely going to sit out with the lifeline.
Oh, lifeline right off the bat. All right. Well, I'll
Top
just
8 jobs.
I'll just go with Alabama.
Is that a good job, do you think, Eddie?
What do you take? Do you take that?
Yeah, they're win all the time.
All right, there we go.
Yes,
Yay.
they do win all the time, and
Yes.
it is a top 8 job in the sport.
All right. David, you're up next. What is your first guess? You do have your lifeline if you choose to use it.
Ohio State.
Ohio State, the Buckeyes on the list.
On the list.
Eddie, you're up next. No lifeline, so this is up to you.
LSU.
LSU. On the list. Wow. Just a trend here. David, you're up next. What's your second guess? You do have your lifeline still if you want to use it. Clemson.
Top 8 job?
Ooh, I don't know.
No, they're saying basically Dabo's done that himself.
Yeah, wow.
Because before Dabo,
it wasn't great.
Right? They were not perennial.
Eddie could walk this off right now with the correct answer. What do you got, Eddie? You don't have a lifeline, so up to you.
Michigan Wolverines.
Michigan Wolverines.
Top 8? It is for the win.
With the clean sweep. That was quick.
Yeah, I do like that
painless.
question. Let me guess.
Go.
We said Alabama. Georgia has to be on the list.
Yep, they're number 1.
Yeah, that's an amazing job. Where would I turn after that? SC is on this.
6.
Yeah. We got 3 in the right. Alabama, LSU.
There's only 2 they didn't get.
There's only 2 that we haven't gotten total.
Yep.
Can I guess?
Yeah, of course.
No.
No, you cannot. Florida State.
No.
Texas?
Texas.
Yes, Texas is one of them.
Notre Dame.
Nope.
Oklahoma?
Nope.
Penn State.
Nope.
Is it in the SEC or the Big Ten?
SEC.
Florida?
Yep.
Yeah, it's a good job.
Yeah.
That's a very good job. Okay, so those are the top 8. That's a good list.
Good
Penn
list.
State 16, by the way.
What's that?
Penn State 16.
Is 16. Somebody just said something crazy. What, I forget what it was. Oh yeah, teams that have been ranked number 1 since 2015. There's 3 teams. There's only 3 teams in the nation.
Georgia,
Alabama, and LSU. I think are the only teams to be ranked number 1 since November of 2015. I could be wrong. Someone correct me if I'm wrong. Wow.
All right.
Yeah. Okay. So first of all, who won? Eddie.
Correct.
Congratulations, Eddie. You have won a pair of tickets to see Darius Rucker. This is at Gallagher Square, Petco Park, August 25th. More info at Ticketmaster.com. We have Pantera tickets to give away in the 5 o'clock hour. 5 o'clock hour. We'll get you ready for game 1, right? Game 1 between the Padres and the Diamondbacks. We'll also tell you about what the Padres have done for the first time since before 2021. And also, we got a minute here, but Jalen Mayden is going to join us coming up in about 10 minutes. San Diego State's quarterback, over 2 weeks into camp. I think at this point, it's all prep for Ohio, 9 days out.
That's what Brady said. He said, we start prepping 10 days out.
So they've turned their attention now to the Ohio Bobcats in this people are going to say, well, this isn't, LSU Alabama opener. Not that they're playing each other. This might not be Notre Dame Navy in week 0, which is week 0, but it's a sneaky, really good game and an important game for both of these teams. And I would say more so for San Diego State, as we've talked about repeatedly this offseason, Jim, because of San Diego State's schedule.
Yeah. If you're a college football lover, you're not looking at the Ohio Bobcats as this nothing team. There's, like you said, sneaky good matchup. They won 10 games last year in the MAC. It's a sneaky good matchup, like you said.
It is.
So I think the week 0 slate, right? If you give me how many 3 games to watch.
Oh, it's on there, man. I love that. I like what you're selling. One of the top games of week 0. I like that.
One of the top games. What's the number 1 game of week 0?
I think it's Notre Dame Navy because they're rivals and they play in Ireland. And I think after that, it's San Diego State, Ohio. And it's on FS1. San Diego State is.
Yeah.
And it's at 4 o'clock in the afternoon. Everything's good about it. Seriously. 4 o'clock in the afternoon, Snapdragon Stadium, good opportunity. We'll get to see Jalen Mayden with Ryan Lindley. Yeah. And can they take advantage of that opportunity? We'll catch up on the other side with San Diego State starting quarterback Jalen Mayden. Next hour, also, again, your chance to win those tickets to see Pantera. We'll tell you about something the Padres have done that they hadn't done prior to at least the 2021 season. Jim's Backpage is ahead. It's hour 3 of John and Jim, and it's next.
All right, this update is brought to you by Indeed.com. Padres start a crucial series with the Arizona Diamondbacks tonight at Petco Park. It's a 4-gamer, 6:40 first pitch tonight. We got Zach Gallen on the mound for the D-backs against Rich Hill for the Padres. News with the Padres have reinstated Adrian Morejon off the 15-day IL and optioned him to AAA El Paso. Dog days of summer got your business needing help. Check out Indeed, all-in-one hiring solution that makes it easy to attract, interview, and hire candidates. Visit Indeed.com/credit and get $75 towards your first sponsored job. Terms and conditions apply.
All right, San Diego and Southern California, what's going on? Final hour, John and Jim this hour. Jim's Backpage. We'll give away Pantera tickets at some point in the next 60 minutes as well. We'll tell you about something the Padres have done that they hadn't done prior to 2021. We'll do that coming up at 5:30. And Jalen Mayden off the practice field is going to join us in the next couple of minutes as well. So we're excited to talk to Jalen Mayden for the first time, I think probably since the end of last year. We may have talked to him before the bowl game, Jim. It's probably been 6-7 months since we've spoken with Jalen, I would think.
Yeah, it's been a while.
Right? Off season.
Yeah.
We're not going to call in April and be like, how are things?
Right. Get closer to the start of the season, and hopefully we get Jalen on, multiple times this year.
Absolutely. So, again, that's coming up. The opener for San Diego State is a week from Saturday at 4 p.m. Our pregame coverage is going to begin at 2 p.m. So we have that dynamic, of course, playing out the start of the Aztec season. We have the Padres trying to make something of the final 6 weeks of the season. It hasn't been easy even to get here at 4.5 games out, but they've made up 2 games in 2 days, and it's a critical weekend and a critical 7 games. We've been talking about it. It's like you look at who these other teams are playing, you look at who the Padres are playing, and this is the week where maybe it does make or break them by the end of this week.
And this is a very exciting time in San Diego. I know the Padres season has been just a complete disappointment up until now, but there is that hope there from the fan base if they happen to be within striking distance, right? You still got a month and a half left here, a little less than a month and a half. Actually, about a month and a half. Yeah,
a month and a half.
About a month and a half. Almost exactly. Yeah, exactly a month and a half. Football season starting literally next weekend.
That is crazy, isn't it?
And then we are also very close to the start of Aztecs basketball as well.
Also kind of crazy.
All 3 won't overlap at one time, but you're coming off a national championship, banner night, awesome. Second year at Snapdragon Stadium.
True.
Ironed out the kinks. Jalen Mayden at the helm. Padres, see what happens with those, with them.
Yeah, it could be a really good fall. You make a good point. Listen, Padres have work to do. We know that.
Yeah.
San Diego State football hasn't started yet, but we're excited about the opportunities in front of them. And then, of course, the basketball team, to your point, coming off a national championship game appearance.
Yeah.
Expectations and excitement both will be
through
the roof.
Are you still not going to allow me to go to opening night?
I'm not going to let you go to the arena for the year.
Well,
you need at least one more year.
I went to the arena. When we broadcasted out there, that's when I went. When we broadcasted out at the arena, I was there. I just never got inside the gates of the arena. I just was around it.
Jalen Mayden will join us at 5:15. Okay. So they're still in the practice field. He's going to join us coming up in about 10 minutes. So let's get back to the Padres then. Again, game 1 against the Diamondbacks. We've been talking about, hey, this is weird. You get shut out by Zach Gallen 5 days ago. Yet tonight, the Padres are even money at home with Rich Hill on the mound. Hey, this is weird. And then we did not a very deep dive, and we looked at home road splits, and Zach Gallen has not been the same pitcher on the road that he's been at home.
Maybe they thought it was 2013 Rich Hill.
Potentially. That's possible.
They're confused.
That is possible.
Was he good in 2013?
That's better than he is now.
Better than now. Since it's like season 21 for Rich Hill. But hey, Rich Hill is due. Padres are due. Zach Gallen and the Diamondbacks on the road. All I know is this. It feels like a big game. And who knows, maybe we're walking down into a bear trap and we're going to be like, this team's done if they lose 2-0 tonight.
Right.
But it just feels like, to both of us, because we've said it all day, it feels like a big game.
It does. Because if you win this game, then I mentioned this earlier in the show, I will be the Undertaker meme in the coffin looking up like, what's going on here, guys?
Will you send that out tonight if they win to get within 4 games? A 3-game winning streak? You're going to send that out?
I'll send it out. Doesn't mean that
doesn't mean you believe it.
Yeah, I still need to see it to believe it. Do I want it to happen? Absolutely. There's nobody I feel like in this town that doesn't want the Padres to win. We all want the Padres to win. We want them to go on this winning streak. It's just hard when this team has let everybody down so many times this year to fully back that hope, right? Because it's like you got to see it first, and then you can back it. And that's where we are. That's where I've been at. I've said surprised. I'll be more surprised if they make the postseason than not. But it doesn't mean that I don't want them to make the postseason. Now, do I think there still needs to be changes in this organization? Absolutely, there does. Would it benefit this team to just sneak in the postseason and then the lipstick on the pig theory of like everything is totally fine? I don't know. I don't know, and I'm afraid that's what would happen when you're just going to overlook 5 months of crap just because you snuck into the postseason because everyone around you was a bunch of mid.
That's a whole nother conversation.
I know it's a whole nother conversation.
You know what I mean? Like,
I'm just talking about like the generalization of everything.
I'm with you. If they get in with 83 wins on some tiebreaker and they lose 2-0 to Milwaukee,
yeah,
we can have that conversation because it's a very legitimate conversation. But right now, we're going to concern ourselves with like, can they possibly do this from this terrible position they were in? Like literally 2 days ago, they're 7 games under 500.
And can they win? Can they win tonight? That's all that matters. Can they win tonight?
But listen, even in the 2 days since they were like fully buried and 7 games under,
fully buried, yeah,
1-5 in their last 6, coming off a 1-4 road trip, losing game 1 to Baltimore, their chances of making the postseason, even on FanGraphs, are down to like 15%. 2 days later, it's up to 25%. It's amazing how every day the perspective changes. Every single day. Come tomorrow, I know what we're going to be saying tomorrow at the Blind Burrow if they win. Wow. Chance of a 4-game winning streak. A lot in front of this team. Take advantage of this opportunity this week against the Diamondbacks. If they happen to lose tonight, we're going to say, same old team. Lack consistency. Can't win in the clutch. Can't beat good pitching. Don't have faith in them. But it's still not over.
Yeah.
You know? That's what so everything's contingent on each and every night.
I just hope that if they do get truly back in this thing, I don't want to hear any like the told you so's from the clubhouse. You know, like, hey, you jumped off the bandwagon. We told you we were starting to rake in.
Oh,
they're totally gonna
not just clubhouse. Wait for social media.
Oh, I know. And
wait for it.
I know.
Oh,
I trust me. I know it's going to happen.
How about all those people that quit on Jay Cronenworth?
Oh yeah. Hey,
those people are awfully quiet right now.
They're awfully quiet. Jay Cronenworth. Oh my gosh. Give me a break.
Right? You're going to see a lot of that.
You will definitely see a lot of it. And that's the part of it, the equation that,
well,
it just
people
bugs
get mad, and people get mad. They're like, you guys said this. Like, well, no, here's what you should be saying. You guys cover the Padres as much as anyone.
Yeah.
Because if you cover a baseball team as much as we do, you are going to opine, offer your opinion, and over 162, I mean, clearly you can't just say one thing. There's only one team you can say one thing about. That's Oakland. Poorly run organization. That's bad. That's a fair statement all year long.
Yeah.
The other teams, like there's ebbs and flows. Maybe there's one or two others, but you get my point. There's ebbs and flows to it. You can't always be right over the course of 162, especially with a team that has like expectations.
Yeah, I give my opinion in real time. And if a team loses a bad game, like I tell you about it. All right. If a guy is in a slump, I tell you about it. And then if he's doing well, I tell you about it. Like, hey, guess what? Jake Cronenworth has been hot his last 15 games. Do I think that everything I said about Jake Cronenworth beforehand, how he was,
And you didn't even say anything.
No,
you
I
just said he
did.
hasn't performed,
which is a
Yeah,
factual statement.
right, exactly.
It's just the whole thing of social. You get people like, oh, why are all the people
Here's the
talking
thing.
about Jake Cronenworth now? You
I don't
losers.
know.
Like,
I don't
shut
know if we
up.
have a right. So I don't know if you have a right to
I
be
don't
critical
care.
of social media
No,
because you use it in that same manner.
but they're being serious.
Yeah, probably true.
I'm really
yeah, that's
not.
true. That is true. I agree with that.
Yeah.
I do. What do you have, Brent?
And then text line says, meanwhile, Jim seems like the type to argue and yell at Siri.
Well, because earlier you said John seems like the type that says please and thank you to Siri, and I wrote back, I do.
You do say it, yeah.
And Jim is probably so disrespectful to Siri.
She doesn't like that. I've yelled at Siri before.
She gets mad.
Yeah.
Yeah. You suck, Siri.
Be like, you don't have to be so rude.
Jalen Mayden, San Diego State starting quarterback. He's going to join us in 3 or 4 minutes. We'll tell you about the Padres, something they haven't done since before 2021 that they've now accomplished. Plus, Jim's Backpage is ahead. Also, Pantera tickets are ahead. Your chance to win those tickets. Those are for a show on August 26th, by the way, North Island Credit Union Amphitheater, August 26th. More info at Ticketmaster.com.
By the way, are we potentially going to get, Brent talked about it. I don't know if you were joking or not, Brent. Are we potentially going to get any rainouts this series and into next week?
Well, the answer is yes.
Sunday is the big day.
And
you
Monday.
literally yesterday were like, oh,
The weather.
Monday it might rain.
I know. The weather, guys. The
It's so
weather's
funny.
causing me to sneeze all the time.
And
then you told me I was an idiot.
You are an idiot for talking 5 days in advance of weather and how it impacts your life. But I saw on social media people are like, what happens if it rains? Have you
Water
ever watched
falls from the sky.
the
and-
Cubs-
We will rebuild.
The Cubs lose games. The Phillies lose games. They'll find a way to get them in. Every team will play 162.
We will rebuild.
Yeah. So if they lose a game against the Diamondbacks, they're gonna have to find an off day to play a game.
That's
against
gonna
the
be
Diamondbacks.
that's gonna be interesting. Because
Is
when's
it?
when's the last time this place had a rain
Long
out?
time.
I mean, I remember when I was working for the radio side, there was a rain out, and everyone said that it was an anomaly.
I want to say it was 2016 or 2017.
It's 2017.
Is when they had a rain out?
Yeah,
Okay.
I don't know.
Yeah.
I don't know if they had one since.
Oh, it's definitely an anomaly, Jim.
It's only happened, I think, like maybe a handful of times.
Yeah, seriously. I want to say Dodger Stadium, same thing. They've had like 5 in the last,
30, yeah.
35 years, if that, 4.
Chicago was like 5 in a week.
Exactly. All right, let's switch gears. San Diego State, Ohio is 9 days away, right here on San Diego Sports 760, 4 p.m. a week from Saturday. Our pregame coverage will begin at 2 p.m. We hope to see you there. Tickets are available at goaztecs.com. We've been talking about it today. San Diego State starting quarterback Jalen Mayden back with us on John and Jim, the all-new San Diego Sports 760. Jalen, we really appreciate your time. What has this offseason been like for you, the full offseason, knowing you're going to be the starter and having a chance to work with your offensive coordinator, Ryan Lindley? And thanks for hopping on.
Well, first of all, thanks for having me. But long off season, winter, summer, and I think just the fine tuning of everything, being able to finally have this position and having the ins and out with the guys, being able to kind of have my say so in the offense, being able to call things that I like, things that work against my strengths, and then getting all the timing with the receivers. Just all of that is what I think is the biggest thing that has happened since just being back in the summer and everything like that.
And Jalen, Ryan Lindley, first year new offensive coordinator. You've had a full offseason to prepare with him. How is your relationship with Ryan, going into this year?
It's really good. I like how he's innovative, always willing to try things, never shies when he comes to asking us if we feel comfortable with something. That's really my favorite part about him is it's not his way or the highway,
Jalen Mayden is with us right now. He's San Diego State starting quarterback. Aztecs play Ohio next Saturday. You've been through a lot of fall camps, Mississippi State. This is your third at San Diego State, but now you're entering the year as the starting quarterback. How is this camp different for you, compared to the other camps you've gone through, whether it's here or at Mississippi State?
Just being a guy. Normally, I'm just a good teammate. I'm supporting the starter, but this time, it's on my back, and it's on me to get the guys, fired up every day and making sure that we stay consistent and playing at a high level.
And what does that do for your confidence? Going into this year, like we've talked to Brady multiple times where he's told us like, yep, Jalen's the guy. How did that conversation go with Brady about telling you like you are our QB1? And then how does that translate to your confidence on the field, knowing that like this is on me now?
Really, just by the end of the year, I kind of figured that I was going to be the guy coming in the next year, and we just had to build it. But as far as confidence, I think our defense is what really gives me the most confidence because they're top 10 or top 15 in every aspect of playing defense every year in and year out. And just me having success on our defense with our guys on offense is what really boosts my confidence.
Jalen Mayden with us right now, John and Jim, the all new San Diego Sports 760. I know we talked to you about this last year, but for our listeners that maybe didn't hear that, quarterbacks are typically leaders, but you have this like unique perspective of having played obviously on both the defensive side of the ball with this team and also last year on the offensive side at quarterback. Do you have a special bond with this defense because of your relationships that you built with them last year?
Yeah, I would say that, but it was more, I mean, as far as playing, yeah, but I feel like I even have my bond goes deeper because I know what it is to be that guy on the bench, to be that guy where you're one play away, two play away. So I feel like my bond goes deeper with the team because everybody sees, oh, he put in that extra work and he grinded to get to where he was. It wasn't handed to me. And I feel like playing on offense and defense, I worked on both of those and had to work my way up on both. So I feel like that's where the respect kind of comes in.
And this past Saturday, we were there for the scrimmage. You guys, first two drives, scored touchdowns. You guys looked, really good, moving the ball up and down the field. You had a long pass to one of the first plays of scrimmage there, about a 40-yard pass down the middle. For you, how did you feel like, that scrimmage went getting ready to go against Ohio next weekend?
I feel like the scrimmage went really well, both offense and defense. I know defense, that's not the start that they would have liked to have gave up, but throughout the scrimmage, you saw them get takeaways and you saw them running and going to the ball. And on offense, you saw them scoring touchdowns and you saw the pace was moving a little bit faster. Not saying it's like hurry up tempo or anything, but just getting people to the ball and getting those first downs like we needed and keep staying ahead of the chains. I think both sides of the ball are really good.
San Diego State quarterback Jalen Mayden with us right now on San Diego Sports 760. Obviously, each year in college football, you've got new players, new parts, but how do you replace receivers like Tyrell Shavers and Jesse Matthews, and how are the receivers performing so far in camp?
I would say to replace guys like that, you just kind of got to motivate the guys that you have that, like I said, play consistently, but then consistently rise their level of play. And we just do that through, routes on air, staying out to practice, getting extra work in, because at the end of the day, it's not what one or two players can do. It's what the group can do, and you're only as good as the weakest one in the room. So it's getting everybody to consistently up their level of play.
Jalen, from last year to this year, what's the one thing that you're looking to improve on the most?
Really the whole aspect of playing quarterback, but just simple things, leadership, getting the guys to, play, give everything they got every play, and staying consistent. That's all the things, my key points that I've been hitting on every day in my notebook. Just making sure I bring those three things every day.
Has the team now turned its attention to the opener and this Ohio game coming up in about 8 or 9 days? And what are going to be some of the keys here for the Aztecs to win the opener?
Everything I just talked about and playing together. It's normally openers is not really about all the plays and stuff. It's about who commits to less turnovers, who commits to less penalties, and who plays a cleaner game.
And finally, for me, Jalen, going back to Ryan Lindley here and your relationship, what does he do, like as far as play calling, that makes it so comfortable for a quarterback? Because you've mentioned like it just the relationship, the comfortability there, it feels right. Like what does Ryan do that's so good to make you feel so comfortable in the pocket?
I'd say we try a lot of things out in practice, and he just asked me how I feel about him, and he's not calling things that I'm not comfortable with. Because if you call something the quarterback's not comfortable with, he's probably not going to be 100% confident in the play, and it could make the play a lot worse, So just making sure that I'm comfortable with it, but also making sure he's playing to the strengths of his players, and all that mixed together is what makes it comfortable for me.
And you're viewed as a dual threat quarterback. You can run the ball. You're big. You're not afraid to take a hit. You play on defense. What's the message from Ryan about that? Using your legs as well to make sure the defense stays honest.
Yeah, a lot of times I even forget that I'm dual threat just because I'm trying to give my guys every possible second to get open and make a play. But me and him have had our talks about sometimes I need to get that clock back in my head and be able to scramble and use my legs just to get those extra yards and keep the defense honest. But like I said in practice, I've been working on all of that and just looking forward to being able to prove that on the field.
Jalen, could you ever have envisioned this journey coming out of high school, the path you've taken, ending up here, and now having this opportunity?
I could honestly say I never did, and I didn't see it. I always tell a joke to the younger guys on the team that I used to be that young cat that was always saying, like, I would never be that old head in the locker room talking about how I used to be my freshman year, my sophomore year, and here I am, and I just encourage the guys all the time to enjoy it because it felt like just yesterday I was stepping foot on Mississippi State's summer bridge program. So, yeah, I never did think it would be like this.
It goes quick. One more, Jalen, before you go. And I don't even know if you're fully aware of this or not. You were named today to the Earl Campbell Tyler Rose Award watch list, which is, well, first of all, to be considered, you have to be born in Texas or graduated from a Texas high school or played at a Texas-based four-year college or junior college. What does that mean to you to be honored on a preseason watch list as one of the top players out of the state of Texas?
It means a lot. I honestly, I'm not on my phone a lot.
Yeah.
And if I am, I'm probably on Instagram or something. But I didn't see it, and I walked out to practice. A lot of the guys like Mark and Delos and a couple of guys were like just joking about it, like, "Oh, Mr. Ward, watch this guy," and stuff like that. And I just kind of was confused. And then just like you said, I didn't know, but it is a big honor for me, especially because I did put in all the hard work, and it's finally starting to pay off. And I just can't wait to show everybody what I can do in 9 days.
Jalen, we appreciate you taking time. Like you said, it's a week away. We really do appreciate your time. We know it's busy. It's San Diego State and Ohio next Saturday at 4. Tickets at goaztecs.com. Our pregame coverage will begin at 2 p.m. on San Diego Sports 760. Jalen, thank you so much, and best of luck in your preparation.
Yes, sir. Thank you for having me.
All right, Jalen Mayden, San Diego State's starting quarterback. We've always said this is cliche, but like he is the good head on shoulders guy, cerebral. Mm-hmm. Remember last year against Hawaii, the first game, like this guy stays in the pocket, has a great awareness of everything going around him. Like he's not a happy feet guy. Like he's very cool and calm under pressure.
Yeah. And, I asked him about the dual threat because a lot of times if you are a dual threat quarterback, you tend to want to run more than pass. Like you want to make sure that you try to get some positive yards, and the whole thing playing quarterback is pass. Okay, nothing getting the run. Instead of pass, run.
Right.
And that answer from Jalen, I kind of forget sometimes I even am a dual threat quarterback. I think that is a great answer. And what exactly you want to hear from your quarterback is that he's not looking to run first. He's looking to throw first. And then if he has to, he knows that he can run. I think it's a great sign for a dual threat quarterback.
No, I think it's a really good point. I think at times a year ago, the starter before Mayden, Braxton Burmeister, would look to run maybe a half second before, where Jalen Mayden will look to pass for that additional half second or so. All right, Padres have done something that they haven't done since before the 2021 season. What is that? Plus, we'll give away Pantera tickets and Jim's Backpage. All still ahead. So the Padres have actually done something that they haven't done in at least the last few years. What is that? We'll share it with you next.
All right, this update is brought to you by Indeed.com. Padres start a crucial 4-game series with the D-backs tonight at Petco Park. 6:40 first pitch. It's a 4-game series. You got Rich Hill on the mound tonight for the Padres and Zach Gallen on the mound for the D-backs. Other news with the Padres, Adrian Morejon was reinstated off the 15-day IL and sent down to AAA El Paso. Dog days of summer got your business needing help. Check out Indeed, an all-in-one hiring solution that makes it easy to attract, interview, and hire candidates. Visit Indeed.com/credit and get $75 towards your first sponsored job. Terms and conditions apply.
All right, we've teased this for like 6 hours. Like it's going to be like some like life-changing segment.
Could be.
Padres have done something they hadn't done since before the 2021 season, which, by the way, is not that long ago. Now that the tease is over, I'm just going to like ruin this whole thing.
Why do you're like that's stupid?
I mean, 2021, and Jim came up with the tease. It was a very good tease. But like they haven't done something since 2021.
Well, for the previous 5 years from 2021, like previous 5 years up before that,
they did it.
It was like the number one talking point in this town.
I agree. So what are we talking about? It's a top 10 farm system in baseball. The Padres had dropped out of that, which typically, by the way, is a good thing. You have a good major league team. Right. You don't have to have the number one team system. Sometimes it works. Baltimore right now, good team, good system.
Number one system, Baltimore.
Right. But the Padres, after falling outside the top 10, are back in now, according to Baseball America, and number 9 system overall, which is kind of crazy after the Juan Soto trade last year.
I know. One of the biggest questions after that deal was how long is it going to take for the Padres farm system to be viewed as good again, or viewed as like a top tier farm system where the Padres and AJ Preller, they live. That's a huge goal for them, is to be a top 10 farm system, right? Like, hey, top 10 farm system. Are we there? Top 10? Yeah.
But no longer, right? I mean, who cares? If this team goes 79 and 83, but you got the number 9 system.
It still matters a bit. It still matters to them.
That's like, again, you don't hoist trophies because of a top farm system.
I know you don't, John. But you can't tell me that having a top 10 farm system doesn't matter to people in that
You
organization.
think like there's some high fives that day, like in the office?
I don't know, maybe.
Or like you think they catered, maybe like they had a nice spread come in, like, oh, number 9 system. Let's get some Quiznos.
Some rainbow rolls.
Do you know
Quiznos. First off, I loved Quiznos.
does it even exist?
R.I.P. Quiznos.
Oh, it doesn't exist?
All the Quiznos in town here are gone. I don't even know.
Maybe because they didn't have enough top 10 farm
Can you look that up, Brett? Can you
systems.
see if
Does
Quiznos went
Quiznos
bankrupt?
exist?
I mean, I hope it does. I loved Quiznos. It was one of my favorite places. I went there
I
all
don't
the
think
time.
it exists.
Not anymore.
Is my guess.
But you pulled that one out of nowhere.
They're still around.
They're still around. Thank you.
Any in town here?
No, looks like closest one is in San Clemente.
We'll drive.
Yeah.
We'll go for a
No,
drive.
I won't drive that far for Quiznos.
It's true. What were we talking about? Oh, like, okay, but here's the thing.
It's a deal. It matters to them.
Yeah, but does it matter to you? Like, or does it matter to our listeners that they have a top 10 system? And by the way, what did they get out of that top 10 system for 5 years?
They got Juan Soto. And
Exactly. They traded off some
They
pieces.
got
to
Joe
get pieces.
Musgrove.
Yeah,
and they
no.
got Blake Snell and
I
Josh
sound
Hader.
like you now, and I'm with you. They did, but they didn't get all these cornerstone pieces from their system to impact them here.
And that has been the biggest knock still on Preller, is that he can accumulate a bunch of talent. Okay. That's great. But can he build a cohesive roster? And I know you're saying, well, you guys just said they use the talent to get better talent. Yeah, but also when you have no pitching depth in your organization that is ready for the major leagues this right now, and you have to go to guys like Rich Hill, like that's an issue. And how you've never drafted a pitcher and developed him through your organization to be a quality major league starter that's been on your team and stayed on your team and not traded away, that's a problem. So
that's why I feel like we should take the number 9 ranking with a grain of salt.
Oh, it's always with a grain of salt. Like,
now, with that being said, if there's one prospect that seems to stand head and shoulders above the rest, kind of like Tatis 5 years ago. It was like Tatis.
This is a Tatis situation.
Salas.
Yeah.
No guarantees. I'm not saying it's a guarantee. I'm just saying also nobody would be surprised if they've got some cornerstone future piece right now in their system. Now, he's 17, so we have to temper that.
Right.
And even if he gets the big leagues at 19, it doesn't mean he's going to hit 39 home runs, obviously. But it seems like they've got that next cornerstone type. I know they didn't draft Tatis, but they developed Tatis. So, and maybe there's more. Maybe Jackson Merrill, maybe some of these pitchers, or maybe not, because we've gone through this exercise before.
I think I saw tonight that Jackson Merrill is actually in the outfield.
Okay, so they're moving him around.
Interesting. So yeah, we'll see. We'll see how it goes. We'll see if any of these guys pan out. I mean, if the 7 guys we talk about all the time, if 3 of them pan out or 2 of them pan out, like to be
good.
really like impactful pieces to the major league club, I think that's a good ratio. Because we remember that what I read a couple weeks ago, maybe a month ago or so, about drafted players and how many of them hit, like the percentages.
That's a low percentage.
It's a low percentage across the board. But you look at like some teams have drafted 400 players since 2018 or whatever, and only 30 of them have made it to the big league club or something like that.
Yeah.
So it's a crapshoot. But it's yet to be seen with Preller if all these farm pieces can be pieces at the major league level to contribute in a big way.
They used to say 1 in 10 A-ball player would reach the big leagues, and about 50% of AA players would one day play in the big leagues.
Yeah.
But that just goes to show the hurdles. I mean, 8 and 10, 9 and 10 A-ball players don't get to the big leagues. Even half, if not a little more than half of guys that ever touch AA never even appear in the big leagues, let alone contribute at the big league level.
Yeah.
So number 9 system, it is interesting. After the Soto trade, I would have figured they forgot about it. Forget that. They'll be buried in the 20s. They're not going to be able to build this thing back for a number of years.
But the Ethan Salas kid
that's the big reason why probably the top 10, because he's like a top 5 player overall in the game.
Well, he also kept Jackson Merrill.
Yeah, that's true.
And those 2 pieces there they help you. They help you stay in the top 10.
Helps you a lot. Now, is this number 9 system going to help you tonight?
No.
Against the Diamondbacks and Zach Allen?
You think Manny Machado's at the plate? Like, he's like, Ethan Salas is on our
hot talent lava.
He's
man.
like, he's in our organization.
He's going to be here in 3 years.
3-2 slider outside corner, except he takes it the other way.
Feet.
Takes the other way for 500-foot home run. Pitch that he can never hit.
For the first time I'm trying to think, the last time I was kind of genuinely like, I'm excited for this Padres game.
You're gonna be let down. Watch.
I know. That's the problem. I'm like going into this night like, wow,
You're so happy. You're
I'm
so
into
excited
this.
about
Like
this
Zach
game.
Gallen, he struggled on the road. Padres have hit grand slams and stolen home the last couple of days.
Things
They're
are
going to gain a
happening.
half game with a win. There's that nothing can stop that from happening because of off days
or lose the half.
No,
game
but with a win. Oh yeah. No, I know.
Yeah.
I know.
It's the half game tonight.
It's the half game, and they can get to within 4 games with a win over the Diamondbacks.
Mm-hmm.
All right, here's what we're going to do. Jim's back page is still ahead. Now, we've given away tickets all day long. We're going to do it again tomorrow. By the way, join us tomorrow. Blind Borough, 7th and J, downtown, literally a block away from Petco Park and the Western Metal Supply Company building. We're there from 3 to 6. Darren Smith Show, get there earlier. Darren will be broadcasting live from 12 to 3. We'll broadcast live 3 to 6. We've done this all season long. When the team's at home, we're at Blind Borough. When the team's on the road on a Friday, we are at Fair Play. It's been awesome, honestly.
It's been great
to do it all season long.
I said that yesterday. The one constant this year that has been amazing for us, at least, has been being at Blind Borough for home Friday games, and then we're at Fair Play for away Friday games. Those 2 spots are like must-go spots if you want to hang out, watch sports, or just find a place to watch the Padres.
I'll miss it in the offseason. Whenever this thing does end, I will miss it in the offseason. It's become such a routine. We've done it for so many consecutive weeks that I'll absolutely miss it in the offseason. So join us tomorrow, Blind Borough, 3 to 6. Please do stop by if you're going to go to the Padres game or if you're just kicking off your weekend downtown. Right now, caller 5, you've got 2 free tickets to see Pantera at the North Island Credit Union Amphitheater. It's August 26th. 844-570-1360. You need to call right now. 844-570-1360. 2 free tickets to caller 5 to see Pantera. More info at Ticketmaster.com. This is August 26th, so 9 days away. Call right now. 844-570-1360. Jim's back page. That's next on John and Jim. All right. On the other side, Jim's back page. He is getting ready as we speak. It's next. All right, Jim's back page in a moment. By the way, there was this extensive interview done today, the first for Lionel Messi since moving to the States to play in MLS.
Yeah.
Messi today saying that Major League Soccer is poised to catch European leagues in terms of like its level of play. I know. I saw your face. Like, come on, right? That's always the knock. And I don't know enough about the sport. Always the knock is, well, it's not to the level of, and then name the league.
Yeah.
Messi. I mean, I guess that adds some credibility to the claim. It is Lionel Messi, but the exact quote was that basically has every opportunity to catch the premier leagues in Europe. I mean, I don't know what to make of that. We've heard that before, right?
I think people that know much more soccer than us
would say that's not true.
I would think so. Yeah.
I would think so too. I don't know. I was interesting. It's the number one story at ESPN.com. This lengthy, wide-ranging interview with Lionel Messi, who's been here for what, a month? He's
been here a month.
Crazy.
I mean, scored 9 goals. I think 9 goals, 8 or 9 goals,
9 goals in 6 matches.
And the record for goals for Inter Miami is like 20.
Oh, like in the history of the franchise, you're saying? And he's already like there. He's gonna have the record like by the end of the month.
That's in like 75 games or something, or some the numbers that he is going to break, or the records he's going to break with that team.
It's almost like he's good.
It's almost like he's better than everybody. Yeah.
Yeah, basically.
Yeah.
All right, let's get to it.
I'm sure we'll know soon who will be the halftime show at the Super Bowl this year in Las Vegas.
We will, yeah.
But we do know who it won't be.
Why is that?
Because this person declined the offer to perform in the Super Bowl. Can you guess who that person is?
I have not seen this.
You don't know? You don't know? Have any clue?
I have no clue.
No clue. Who's the hottest? Like,
we've talked about
Taylor Swift. She has declined and turned down the opportunity to play at Super Bowl 58.
Yeah, she doesn't need that.
mean, that's too big for her.
She's way too. No, she's way too big for it.
You think?
Yeah.
Rihanna just played last year. Yeah,
Taylor's like the biggest act in the world.
She is the biggest act in the world.
She's bigger than Rihanna.
I know, but I'm just saying, like, big performers have done the Super Bowl.
Oh, I know they have, but I feel like she's almost even beyond that.
Yeah, her shows that she has done, the Eras Tour.
You want to go?
Actually, kind of, yeah.
Me and you?
It would be now we can't go because she finished up her state tour in LA just last week. So now she's going international. So if you want to go international, then we can go.
Do you have a passport? You do.
I do have one now. So you want to go? I think she's playing like Toronto now or something.
Okay, that's not exactly far. I thought you were going to tell me like.
Well, she is. She's
Africa.
I think she's going across seas to Europe.
We're going international. Where are we going? Canada.
Yeah, baby. Hey, still need a passport. So yeah, Taylor Swift out. No Super Bowl for her this year.
Wait, first of all, what are you talking about?
What?
Oh, maybe it's 2024. She's got shows in 2024.
Yeah, the leg of the Eras Tour this year is over in the U.S.
That's hard to believe.
She announced dates for next year, but
okay, it's over.
She needs a break. She does the same thing over and over again every single week, and she has like 50 million people there.
Tour grossed somewhere in the neighborhood of 2.2 billion, by the way, North American ticket sales.
Just amazing.
Crazy.
Amazing. Next up, a high school in Texas, John. I know you saw this today.
I did.
Just recently built a stadium for their football team. It's a state-of-the-art football field that cost $35 million.
That's crazy.
For a high school football team. It can seat up to 10,000 people. And the school, John, only has 1,500 total students.
Wow.
This place.
Don't they have like their own, like they had like a special
suites.
Weight room facility that they built?
Yeah. And it has like suites there and concourse.
Suites? Like, are you buying like a season ticket package to like?
I mean, look at this thing. It looks like the Rose Bowl, dude. I mean, look at this.
Let me see.
I mean, look at this thing, dude. I mean, it's crazy.
Kind of looks like the Rose Bowl. No, that is ridiculous
for high school.
Dude, it is crazy.
I think my high school sat like 400.
Same.
And it was like two bleachers on each side. One bleacher here, bleacher on the other side. There you go. And this place has like a concourse and suites and like
the Melissa Cardinals. Wow.
35 million.
Yeah, that's crazy.
For a 1,500 person school. They have like artificial turf. I mean, look, that field looks amazing.
Nice. It looks nice. It looks like you could have like college football. You could have like a bowl game there.
Really
right? It was like a Melissa bowl game.
I saw the joke of, well, it looks like the Pac-12 has found its next school.
Right.
The Pac-4,
Melissa Cardinals.
Yeah. Do you guys remember the Netflix buy a disc?
Like, of course, when they would send it to you.
Yeah, in the mail.
You'd only have 3 at a time or something.
Right.
Depends what plan you have.
Yeah, or 5.
Well, that's going away.
What do you mean going?
Because the discs went away.
Yeah, the disc. Well, if you want, you have one last chance. The final DVDs will be mailed out September 29th. Returns will be accepted by October 27th. Netflix said in April it was closing the physical rental service after 25 years.
I didn't realize they'd been doing it for the last like 10 years. I thought that was long gone.
You remember?
Long gone.
No, now it's going to be gone.
Yeah, long gone.
But you remember the like video stores you'd go and like rent a movie?
Yes, we're 40.
And then
I like how he's like talking about video stores like it's the Model T or something.
Yeah.
You guys remember when they invented penicillin?
Yeah, like
how many times did you never return a video, like a VHS or a DVD?
No, I think
I forgot. I had a late fee that was so long for a video game I rented at Blockbuster that when I finally took it back, they told me don't bother, keep it. You bought it.
You literally just bought it.
Yeah.
Yeah. Do you remember these, Jim? Or
yes, I loved them. I would always go. I would want my mom to take me all the time so I could rent like these video games. And
wasn't it the worst when the movie was out?
Yeah.
What do you mean you're out of it?
And then it was, I know, like
especially when it'd be something popular, like they'd have 75 copies.
Yeah,
of it,
and they were
all
out.
gone.
Yeah. Now it's if they don't have it on Netflix.
You have to ask if they have one in the back or like behind the counter.
Dude, different world, but that does bring you back. Like I can, I'm seeing it right now in my head, like walking through the aisles.
Yep. Looking at the
movies, blue carpet or something.
Yeah.
Like Blockbuster.
Looking at the video game, seeing the video games, and then looking in the corner and seeing like a a door that says like XXX section, only adults over 18
Yeah,
allowed.
there was
like,
some of that.
Like, ooh, what's back there?
Did Blockbuster have that?
No, I don't think they did.
Yeah, I was gonna say,
like the
They didn't
local
have that
video.
at my video store.
Yeah, the local video store that
you
I
had
went
to go
to.
real local.
Real local. They had it. They had it.
Jim's childhood, basically,
Pretty
in a
much.
nutshell.
Yeah.
And by local, it's that guy behind the 7-Eleven.
Exactly, Brent.
If you missed anything today, you can go to sportssd.com or the iHeartRadio app or iTunes, TuneIn Radio or Spotify or even YouTube. You can catch any or all of the show. Also, make sure to follow us on social media at John and Jim, JONANDJIM. We are back tomorrow from the Blind Borough, downtown San Diego at 7th and J. Please join us from there. We'll broadcast live from 3 to 6. Darren Smith will kick it off, actually, beginning at noon. For Bren and Jim, I'm John. We'll see you tomorrow. Keep it right here. It's the all-new San Diego Sports 760.
Okay.
Okay.